income from each other, and they just took it and created a system around it.
What Wanda, isn't that what happened with, was it Madam C.J. Walker who created
Uh-huh.
Mary Kay? Was it
Yes, she did. I don't know the whole thing, but she kind of created uh a similar system that was picked up by them. It's the system of Mary Kay.
right? Mary Kay was yeah, yeah. So I mean, we give so many.
Unfortunately, I don't know. I need to look that up, right? You want me to look it up or you want to go to another topic?
We can go to Sotar, but I'm really interested. Kyrie, could you send me? Could you DM me the hat cab? Because I need to explore that. I didn't know that Uber was taken from a black man. It makes sense, allegedly.
Yeah, they took the system. So it was more like they put the cab services out of business, but black people, we kind of created an industry on helping each other transport things from A to B, and it kind of took us out of the market because now you don't see any more hat cabs. All a person has to do is call Uber.
Wow, it's dope. We're gonna go ahead and go to Sotar.
I was gonna say that guy was right in Chicago, and you go on the red line trains, and sometimes at the airports, like at the South Side or Midway, they'll say livery cab, but everybody wasn't trusting that shit. But there's a few times I've been in the bind, I had to get to the airport, or I had to get to work, or I wanted to avoid somebody's boyfriend at their crib. I had to, use that, it's a
Oh.
quick fee. Yeah, it's a quick fee. You can go to the casino, but you can't call them late at night though unless you make a relationship with the guy. They know you're not full of shit. So if you
Mm-hmm.
so you when you give them cash, you want to say, hey, here's my number. You need an oil change. You can spare a tire. Let me know, and you help them out with the spare tire, the oil change. When you're not busy, then you develop that relationship with them. Then they stay by your side. Even help them shit put 500 bucks on the new car. Because niggas want that Dodge Charger at the time. So you help with $400 or $500, and they're like, yeah, I can get it from over here, but the Arabs give me a 2-year old Dodge Charger, and you be good to go. But yeah, that guy was right. I remember those things. It was dope.
Very fascinating.
That's interesting. I remember where I would get in an Uber and the person would say, I'll, come and pick you up. Just give me your number, and it would be a whole nother car and a whole nother, like, way to pay and stuff, like, well, it was basically cash. So it was like what you're talking about in reverse. They use the Uber to do side jobs. The Uber contacts.
Mm. Well, one of the reasons why we didn't have one of those. Want to elaborate on something before we go to housing. One of the reasons why we have had a problem building businesses like that is, never forget that laws were against us coming together. According to Dr. Claude Anderson, blacks were not permitted to establish cultural based businesses. Prior to emancipation, the North and the South enacted laws and ordinances that prohibited blacks from owning businesses that competed with whites. Even after emancipation, that remained the case. Blacks were prohibited, a moment, prohibited by legal and social sanctions that withheld capital, market or opportunities, access to resources, and education from establishing business. Even raising tobacco, cotton, and various livestock, where blacks had unquestionable skill, they were generally forbidden to raise and sell their products in competition with whites. Man, tell me we don't need reparations. That right there is a bold claim for reparations. They had to have laws enacted to make sure that we didn't honestly compete with white businesses.
But they don't do what the reason we know this is racism directed at us. And in fact, a lot of the laws and the boot coming down is directed at Americans. So
Right.
they'll let a Peruvian person roast, rodents on the sidewalk in New York. They'll let them do anything. They can take a shopping cart and use it as a barbecue pit and roll it around the neighborhood, set the whole neighborhood on fire, and they don't say a peep. have all kinds of illegal ice cream trucks, drive with all kinds of crazy licenses, but and it's part of it is financial. They know they're not going to get any money by harassing homeless people or illegals because they can just say, I don't have it or I don't speak English, but they can get money harassing Black Americans and even later white Americans. White Americans were pretty much not in this conversation because probably they don't want to set up some of these smaller businesses. But literally, if somebody had a soul food cart, some inspector would pop out the sidewalk and put the truck or the cart out of business. I've heard people go through this, but you can have a million taco trucks rolling all around the United States of America without a problem. But I bet that if a white person opened up a Swedish meatball truck, they would be chasing them too because they want to they want to fine you. They want to fine people. That's one of the reasons that we get pulled over is because we are going to pay the fine even though it hurts. We don't want to. They know that Black Americans are going to pay the fine over illegals and all the rest of these people. So that's why they target us because they don't like us because they're racist. And if they can't find us, they go find some white person to harass. But they really don't like Americans is what I can really honestly say because I've heard a lot of white people get in trouble with all these fines on these small one woman was her daughter was selling lemonade like they used to do back in the day
Yep.
and they went over there and bothered her. Like what? Why? It's just in the neighborhood. But they went over there and tried to find a little girl, and
I
I think
think
it
I
made
saw that
national
video.
news.
Was it a documentary or something? I think I've seen this.
No, this was just a news
Okay.
story. They tried to find a little girl. It might have made a documentary, but it's really based on harassing Americans and thinking you can fine us and letting these other people do anything that they want to do in the streets.
Right, right. And and I don't want to go playing a violin, but I got an example of that that's very frustrating. Um in Kentucky, um did y'all know that foundational Black Americans were dominating the horse racing industry? Did you know that, one?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
they got all the first Kentucky Derby winnings.
Right. Dr. Anderson talks about it ad nauseum. He says, "quote The horse racing industry is another example. After the Civil War and into the first decade of the 20th century, black jockeys dominated the horse racing industry. Although they were skilled jockeys and horse trainers, blacks were not allowed to develop any business based upon their experience around the tracks. By the second decade of the 20th century, horse racing had become a major sport and wealth building business. Black jockeys and trainers were replaced by white trainers and Hispanic jockeys. There's your black and brown coalition right there, Wani. Um, Blacks were not allowed to compete with whites at any level of life. No other racial or ethnic immigrants have been confronted with such systematic oppression to their personal freedom, economic independence, and right to earn a living."
And another aspect of this is they claim that Jim Crow laws were involved in their inability to compete. But here's another aspect of it. When they put those small men on top of those horses, they were basically, this is just like the cowboy situation. They said, you're a cowboy, I'm a cattle man. You're a houseboy, I'm a homeowner. And they thought that term was going to belittle us and emasculate our men. But those men were so athletic and so uh, acrobatic in the jobs that they were doing, they became, Hall of Fame rodeo stars. They became extremely competent in what they were doing. And then the word cowboy became synonymous with excellence. And so those cattlemen wanted to be cowboys. Well, the same thing with these horseback riders, these jockeys. They really were just like, you're short, you can train the horse, you can feed the horse, you can do all these, menial jobs. And oh, by the way, just jump on, you're small, so just jump on the back of the horse and just ride it. It's all about the horse. But it started to be about the jockey. And they didn't like that. That
Wow.
wasn't the way it was supposed to be. It was just get some little guy on there that's light that can. But now everybody's looking at this jockey. Oh, look, he's skilled. They couldn't have that. But
So you're saying the jockey situation was just like cowboys? It was undesirable, but a black man got on there and made and turned it into like something
yeah,
glamorous. Wow.
yes, they were jealous because these men were skilled on every aspect of that horse, from the rooter to the tutor, training it, feeding it, riding it, and everything, and the care of this horse. So therefore, they got jealous, and they didn't have a problem with Mexicans. Mexicans don't pose a threat to them, so they popped some. I did not know that they used Hispanic people. I just knew that they claimed that the Jim Crow laws was the main reason for them not participating anymore.
Yeah, but they don't call it Jim Crow, right? um, let's see. We're gonna go with I think it was housing. Go ahead, housing.
Hey, good evening,
Good
everyone.
evening. How you doing?
We miss you guys.
Oh
Hey,
yeah,
Wani, Professor.
yes sir.
I'm going back to the guy when he was talking about the cabs. In New York, it was big, the hack cabs. They had something up here called the dollar cab. Like if you down, like say like you down 123rd Street, you could catch a dollar cab all the way uptown. They don't have them no more. But now they run buses up north to the prisons, and that's a side job for a lot of brothers, you know, that lives in the city. They normally you could go to the Bronx and catch a bus real cheap because people don't have no money to go see their loved ones up north.
That's terrible. So you talking about like to Rikers?
No, no, up north, the state
Okay,
penitentiaries.
got it.
Like those are like 4 or 5 hours north. Some is even 8 hours. New York is very big.
It is
Going up.
big.
Matter of fact, you already know that,
Yeah, I
Professor.
lived in Rochester.
Yes, you already know. Rochester is roughly like 7, 8 hours from New York.
Yeah, I
that's
Any,
very confusing.
what was that, Monty?
I said that's confusing because isn't Connecticut a short distance away?
Yes.
Yet it makes it look like New York is small because of that, but it's really not small.
it's gigantic.
Uh, I'm like 20 minutes from Connecticut, uh,
Mm-hmm.
straight right up to 287 heading east, Stamford, Connecticut. And what's that other part in Connecticut?
Hartford.
Hartford.
No, Greenwich.
Okay.
Gre- That's right on the border of Rye, New York, between Rye and Westchester, right there. That's where all the rich people live at. The 5, $10 million homes. Now moving to the food carts. Last year, the state of California issued a lot of permits for a lot of immigrants. Brought them food carts and everything. Did you hear about that, Wani?
I did.
Yes, abundance of them. While a brother opened up a hot dog stand, they want 1,000 permits. And this
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
right here in New York, you can see them all over the place. They have a ice cooler, a carriage, and they got all kinds of this soup and stuff. They're allowed to go all over and just make money from all the construction sites and all that stuff. They don't bother them.
Mm-hmm.
But you let a brother set up shop and try to sell some incense, the police will really stop and harass him.
Yes, they
It's
will.
like standard for us. Like we getting cut off at all angles.
Even on the bottom, trying to
Yes.
sell
Right.
goddamn
And
loose cigarettes
yeah.
or a bootleg DVD or
It's pathetic.
something menial, you're being swept up like you're, some big time mobster. And yet, right next to you is some dumpy Guatemalan rolling a truck around selling God only knows what to the public. Some
Yeah.
unknown foods.
Now, Ronnie, back in the days, you know how you have the food truck that got the coffee, the danishes, and everything in it.
Mm-hmm.
Today, you see a lot of Hispanics, Mexicans have these carts, and they're so horrible. They got coffee from the day before. They do their people so dirty. The only ones that eat off it are their people. I see how they do their own people.
Mm-hmm.
It's horrible. It is so horrible. Leftover donuts from a day ago, they're selling to them. I'm like, oh my God. Like, are you kidding me? But soon as someone of black people trying to sell something, they get harassed right off the muscle. And it's crazy.
They sure do.
And then on top of that, you got the narrative, oh, black people lazy. They don't want to work. Black people this, black people that, black people this, black people that.
They
I mean,
also do the same thing with the homeless situation where they say, "Oh, you can steal up to such and such, Prop 47," and then a white guy will go in there with a pillowcase, terrorize the whole store, peeing in there, stealing, filling up the pillowcase, and a black man is not going to be able to do all that without them calling the police.
without that. And I'm going to land my plane with this. You don't see homeless Hispanics down in the city once in a blue moon. You know where they all at? In the hotels, living like big willies.
Yeah, it's really so frustrating. I mean, I was often on
I land my plane. Thank you.
appreciated housing.
Thank
Uh,
you.
I'm gonna quickly say something, and we'll move to WPI. What Housing was saying is so true. I mean, when I lived in Memphis, I would often go to the Walmart down the street from our place and to defend black kids because you have black children out there trying to sell water or but I would always see members of the dominant society questioning their credentials. Why are you here? Do you have a permit? But I never once in my life seen a Caucasian child be questioned for selling Girl Scout cookies or questioned from their credentials. It's like ingrained. It's ingrained to question a black person making money even legally. Um, it's
Yeah,
frustrating,
they deputized themselves all of a sudden.
right?
And now they're getting the heat on their butts. That's the part that gets on my nerves. They've deputized themselves to harass our children, and now every time they try to do something, the man is on their ass. So that's interesting.
Right. What goes around WPI, and then we'll go to the atavist. Go ahead, WPI.
Yeah, housing took my talking point. So yeah, shout out to the dollar vans up in the city over here in New Jersey, and also the gypsy cab knackers. And so yeah, bring those back. But yeah, and I do believe Uber probably took the idea from us black folks because they take everything from us. So, but here's the situation, right? When we talk business, hey, first thing is, do you have your tax ID? And if you're talking automotive stuff or like limousine services, you can start your own Uber limousine. All you got to do is get your car, make sure it's fairly new because certain cars they won't allow you to have like a limousine license. And I ain't even talking like you have to have like a 16 passenger limousine. It's just called that. You feel what I'm saying? Or a taxi license. You know what I mean? Some states may call it or whatever the case be. So with that being said, you could do your own thing because I was just recently doing that the entire pandemic up until I had an accident with my vehicle. You know what I mean? Shout out to the tether that I hit in the back. You know what I'm saying? You stop short because someone else stopped short in front of you, but you don't slam on the brakes and stop on the highway. Slam right into the back of them. Macked up a brand new second owner ever. Yukon Denali, bro. And the insurance company, let's talk about that because this is the other narrative how they get us. The insurance didn't pay me out what the car was really worth. And it took
Wow.
them over 2 months just to get that payment. So you cost some time, money, effort, all this other stuff. So basically, you could go start your own Uber service by having a fleet of vehicles. The same thing Uber, Lyft, all these other people do. You could do the same thing in your state. All you got to do is look it up. So if you have an actual interest in this and you actually have a tax ID, because this is what I tell folks, you ain't got your tax ID, I ain't telling you no more else, because it ain't worth my time or your time. If you ain't really down with it, go get your tax ID. I'll tell you the rest. So all you got to do, go get your tax ID, and once you do that, start looking up how to start your own ride share service. That's what it's called. Right, well, it's called nowadays ride share service. So you can start your own. I was already doing it, and even though I was licensed and insured as far as like, I got my driver's license and my car is fully insured. You know what I mean? So if anything go wrong, you in a vehicle, your family would get paid out if I had an accident or if something were to happen. You know what I mean? But I'm not licensed through the state or anything like that. You know what I mean? And that's where they get us at. And that's what we're not thinking about. You see what I'm saying? The paperwork side of it. You know what I mean? The legalities or the logistics side of it. Once you start thinking like that, the floodgates gonna open for you, black people, because we already got the mindset on how to do this. But I you.
Very true. Very true. Appreciate it. WPI. The Atavist, what's on your mind, bro? The Atavist, can you hear me? I think he may be having issues with his mic.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I hear you now, brother.
Yes.
Okay, great. Um, Peace and love and reparations to the family. Thanks for letting me cook. When hope I had to take a break. Hope nobody took my spot. It took my what I was thinking of, but I can't help but think about psychologically a lot of the mechanisms. Like first of all, how white people feel, all of them feel invested to get in our business, and how we react by running away from our inventions in a sense, creating something quick and then leaving it alone. All these are vestiges from chattel slavery. Remember, we didn't have the ability to get patents and patent our own ideas. So the first thing I want to talk about is Black Sam. He was one of the lead slaves that was owned by Eli Whitney, and he's properly been credited with creating a cotton gin. So just imagine if he and his descendants were allowed to have a patent on that. And then, secondly, as a young child in New York, I used to hang out with both sets of grandparents, one from Alabama, one from Mississippi. And I was basically the family's number runner. And I'm sure everybody knows, but numbers was our invention. And all the people from New York or that's been in New York way back in the 70s and 80s, remember they had the slogan was all you need is a dollar and a dream. And that's what we used to do. You give out the dream books, your grandmother wake up, I thought of a bird, so that's 606.
Oh,
Boom.
interesting.
So and see, and I was the kid that came up with a little system that worked with my family on both sides. Mother's first of six, same parents. My dad, same parents as he was number 16 to 17. So whenever people in the family wanted to run a number, they'd run it through me, and I'd have my little cigar box. Then I'd take it to the guy, and we do all that. But imagine if we had them. And then last thing I'll say is another scam they did with the numbers when New York State took it over is they told everybody that the profits were going to go into education. It never touched a dime in education. They went to infrastructure and the white families and the suburbs and things like that. And so I think collectively, and I see a lot of people in the space that do that, and I'll end here, is we have to hang on to our inventions and think of different ways to manifest it. Don't give up on it. Don't sell it out, because selling out is something that they do. That they throw a dollar at us. They throw you 500,000, but your thing is worth 10 millions, and actually it's priceless, because if we're going to effectively build a nation, we have to do it through economics, and we have to use each other and have our dollar, as Dr. Anderson would say, we have to have our dollar flip about 12 times before it even leaves the hood. And in conclusion, the numbers was something that would stay in our neighborhoods until the 70s, and that's why that is very interesting that New York State. Last time I checked, I live in California now, but New York State was making like $7 billion a year off the numbers. Imagine if we only had tenth of that. All right, thanks a lot, y'all. Peace.
Love it.
Thank you.
Um, who was next? Did Nitro get a chance? Who was next? I see Wani. Who was next?
Sure. I'm sorry. Hey,
I
Brooke.
don't want
Yeah,
to
go
skip
ahead,
over
Nitro. Go
anybody.
ahead, Nitro. Go Nitro. Go Nitro.
You want
Go
me to
ahead,
go?
Nitro. Yes, sir.
First and foremost, thank you for bringing me up, man. Definitely want to say peace to the family, love, peace, and reparations and deportations, man. And just want to let you know, I've been seeing you, hearing you guys, man. Y'all be bringing truth to power for real, for real. Ronnie, punishing them all the time. The professor, punishing them. Brother Macau be putting them down, making them tap out all the time. I love hearing y'all, man. Y'all definitely be getting busy out here. Nah, definitely love hearing y'all. I just want to say, I was triggered when he said about the taxi thing, the hack man. I'm out here in Philly, and Philly that was really heavy out here. Now I think about it, there was no Puerto Ricans, there was no Africans, there was none of them doing that out here. It was only the brothers that would be under the trains or at the bus stop. Hack man, hack man, hack man. Where you trying to go? Where you trying to go, brother? Where you trying to go? Hack man. That's how it was. So when he said that that's where they probably got it from, I started thinking about it like, oh shit, he might be right. Because there was no Africans out there doing that. Nobody was doing that but the brothers. They would be all scattered all over Philly. And like so you come off the sub, you ain't want to get like a regular taxi. You get a hack man. Like how much? Where you going? He'll give you a price. They'll give me $15. Give me $25. I'll take you there. I'll take you there. And that I was like, oh shit, that's probably exactly where they got it from too. But yeah, definitely the hack man was definitely something that was heavy out here in Philly. It was definitely a hustle for black men out here. I just wanted to land. I'll land with that. I definitely appreciate y'all bringing truth to power, man. I love listening to y'all pounding them tethers out. And anybody that definitely tries to challenge y'all is a problem, man. I definitely appreciate listening to y'all, man. I love it.
Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you, brother. Um, Brooke.
Hey, Brooke.
Hey, Brooke. Hey,
Hi.
hey.
Hi. I wanted to second what he said. You guys are amazing. I love listening to you. I just wanted to add this little 2 cents when he was talking about New York. One thing that I noticed is that before the illegals got here, before we were invaded by illegals, um, our children, our black children, they used to go in the train stations and sell candy. Sometimes it'll be because, they have a basketball team, they're going to something, they need uniforms, whatever it is, and they would be selling candy. And not too long ago, I want to say like maybe 2 years at the most. It was definitely before the pandemic though. They had arrested a 10-year-old who was with an adult for selling candy in the train station. It was really bad. Like they really like the cops really smacked down on this little boy. It was really sad. It was another situation we had where we had some little girls who got into just a regular school fight, nothing crazy, no weapons or anything involved after school fight. And the police really smacked down on these little girls. That was also sad. And I just find it so odd that, they basically cleared the way for these illegals to come. And guess what they're doing? They're in the train station selling candy. They're selling fruit with their nasty asses because they don't wash their hands and they sitting there licking on the knives and cutting up fruit in the nasty train station where, oh, that is the most disgusting thing. And so they're down there cutting up mangoes and whatnot in a rat infested train station. And I just noticed that, that they are, like you said, they are definitely allowed. And I felt like they kind of paved the way. They made it so unbearable for the little black children to do that. For now, for these illegal women to be doing it with a baby on their back and two or three kids in tow. There's no child services being called or anything like that. And so I just wanted to add that a couple of sentences. Thank you.
Oh, white people are anti-black. Go ahead. Thanks for
I'm up here
being.
talking through a mute, but go
Oh,
ahead. Go
thanks
go
for
ahead,
being
anti-black.
patient. I knew something was
Go ahead.
going on.
Nah. Go ahead, Professor. You probably wanted to hit
Yeah,
the
I
sister
didn't.
brother.
I was
Go
like,
ahead.
I was on a roll too, but I'll
Stupid Twitter, stupid Twitter.
talking through a mute. I'm good at doing that. But just quickly, I was agreeing with Sister Brooke and letting y'all know that I've seen a lot of that in my life of black children not being provided with an outlet, a creative outlet to show to display their genius. Black children want to display their genius, their business genius. Um, Black children in inner city schools are targeted for selling candy, and I've seen such creative ways of selling candy happen, you know what I'm saying? And I've seen black kids get suspended for it. Why are you suspending black children for selling candy at school? In my view, it's almost as if it's a it when black children become entrepreneurial, the system is like, no, 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 no. We don't want you to be self-sufficient. We want you to be dependent on me. That's the way I see it. But anyway, go ahead. Next
Can
speaker.
I say one more thing?
Yeah, go
Can
ahead,
I say
Brooke.
one more thing?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Pardon. The tax ID numbers. So when you guys were talking about the tax ID numbers, you do know that the illegals use tax ID numbers to get bank accounts and to quote unquote. That's how they be like, "Oh, I'm not a citizen, but I pay taxes." And so they be using those tax ID numbers to commit banking fraud because that's what it is. To commit banking fraud because if they ask you for a social security number and you give them a tax ID number, that is banking fraud. So I just wanted to let you put you guys up on game with that. And that's it. Bye.
Is that the
Thank you so
EI?
much for letting me speak.
Thank you.
Yes.
EIN
Yes, the
number.
EIN number.
And if
Mm-hmm.
I try to open a bank account with that number, which I have, I'm told that I need to provide my social security number as well.
Hmm.
So this, oh
What?
yes. Oh yes, yes,
Facts,
yes.
facts.
Definitely 100%.
Yeah, I can vouch for Wani. Same. Yep. Same happened to me. Yep.
Well, that is definitely happening
We should
in
sue.
mass here.
We need to sue because that's yet another thing that these people are able to do and we're not able to do. Because I've heard this before, like way before we had these illegal issues, that some people were just opening up bank accounts. These were mostly like very wealthy people, not the illegal style of immigrant, but wealthy immigrants. Maybe they were just trying to get their money into the bank and didn't care whether they had a social security number. But I see a horrible bias here for the average American. I really do. Versus foreigners.
Right.
But I'll say that what I have seen is that people use that in lieu of a social security number.
Yes.
It's like almost they're so when they're illegal and they want to no one to know that they're illegal, they will use that instead of a social security number to either get a job, to housing, bank accounts, whatever.
Yep.
Wow.
I fully agree. And with an
Can I touch
American.
on that real quick?
Yes, go
Go
ahead.
ahead, Church.
Hey, Professor Wani, much love to you both. Um, Wani, you like my spirit animal, sister. You just saw it. The way you be snapping on mugs, I love you too. Just to let you know, you got the spirit of bass, and it's going all over the place. I love that. But to touch on that tax ID information, the tax ID is different from the EIN, and here's why. The EIN is usually used for businesses, right? You build credit with your EIN number. So, EIN number with any type of age on it over 3 years is going to be great when it comes to business, or it's supposed to be great when it comes to business. The difference between that and the tax ID number, though, the tax ID number is usually what the illegals get, right? You can get a tax ID number, but that's usually because you don't have a social security number. And this is how they actually basically tell who's who from business and illegals. Because as a business owner myself, even with the EIN number, they will tell you I have to still use my social security number so they can ID me.
Facts.
And the fact of the matter is that's BS. Is actually against the law to ID a person using their social security number when they've given you an EIN number, because the credit that the company has should be the credit that is being presented to the company. But what they're doing is they're trying to make sure that people give both so they can tell who you are. If you would just have a tax ID number, they don't ask any of those questions. And that's the thing that's really detrimental, is that they have this whole system set up to where anybody with an EIN number has to now show their social security along with it, but anybody with a tax ID number don't have to do the sort. But I just wanted to throw that in. Much love to you both. Much love to our sister Brooke. I see everything you're doing out there in New York, sister. Keep it going. Keep it going. Much love to you guys. I'm gonna drop down and finish my homework.
Oh yeah, good, real good point. And like our sister Wani said, we really need to consider. It may be a good idea to consider a class action lawsuit, because I've been discriminated against by the banks too, and I feel like if we could just get a notepad and write it down and maybe put all the instances into um, an account or upload it to an email. Um, we may need to seek like a class action attorney for that, because I'm
Yeah,
sick of,
it's
yeah.
too it's like different legal systems for different people. And I read this in a book. They said, "Oh, you can get an EI number and you can apply for a bank account." And then I try it. Oh no, that's only if you're an illegal. So this is not legal to do this. To exclude certain people based on nationality in the person's country and
Right.
prioritize foreigners. What that
What
is,
sense does that make? That drives me crazy, Wani.
that's racism, and that's against our nationality and possibly my race. But they didn't know my race, presumably. But it's against my nationality to do that to me.
It's anti-American. We need
It
some.
is.
We need to get some money. It's time for some money to come.
Yeah.
WPI, what's on your mind?
Nah, just piggybacking off of what everybody said. That's why I came into space when I saw the title. So I got an Illmatic story about discrimination, specifically from a branch of the SBA that happened to me. Won't give all the details, but here's the problem, right? Yeah, we need to sue Wani, but the one thing is, you know how they say about you can't sue for race and all this stuff. So you will have to prove that it actually happened to you specifically, which black folks do win those type of cases. Shout out to the brother that won that 150 million off of Elon from the Tesla discrimination lawsuit from his peers. You see what I'm saying? And then a prejudiced ass judge reduced that down to 20 million because Tesla arbitrated it. You feel what I'm saying? And had another judge overlook it. You know what I mean? So those lawsuits do work. I had a discrimination lawsuit that I tried to file with the EEOC. So let's talk about them, right? Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Anytime you go in there as a Black American to go fill out a report from your job or whatever, hey, they call me NACA and they saying all this jigaboo stuff and saying I love watermelon and fried chicken. That's all prejudice to us. You feel what I'm saying? So when you go down there and explain this stuff to them, the person that's doing the intake, well, usually they when they start piggybacking off your wording, race, all this other stuff, yada yada yada. Oh well, you ain't really got a case. When I talk to my district manager, is a white lady, so I said, hey, the guy Eric who fired me is not really even my manager. He's a store manager, but he ain't got no authority over me. He don't even know me like that. So when I said, well, hey, I think Eric is a race soldier, she said, what the hell is that? I said, you're white. You don't know what a race soldier is? So I'm not going to explain it to you. You got to Google, look it up. She got quiet, yo. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's because you know what it is, dumbass bro. You know what I'm saying? So, oh, well, it's based off of what your situation is and what I saw on the tape. Well, hold up a minute. Eric said I'm exonerated from any wrongdoing for what he saw on the tape. You see what I'm saying? Real shit, you know what I mean? But this is the game they play on us. So if I'm exonerated, that means I am not guilty of anything. But you're still going to terminate me because most companies are at will. They could fire you for anything. Anything. You know what I'm saying? Home Depot is one of those companies, an at will company. You feel what I'm saying? Where it doesn't matter if it was my fault or not. I'm out of here. But I already understood that. I got a retail management background. I already knew I was getting terminated, even though I didn't do anything wrong. You see what I'm saying? And then the other situation we was talking about, like, the banking system, all this other stuff. So when I say, hey, you have to prove that it happened to you, let's get to the next story, and I'll try to be quick, not long with it. I actually was looking to see why there are no SBA type branches in the hood. Okay, here's the mission that it led me on. There's some God given stuff right here. So I went to social services. That's right, y'all. Go down to your local social. That's the welfare buildings. Everybody should go apply for welfare. I don't care if you're getting money or not. Go do it because they gave all this money to the tellers. Go apply for housing, all this other stuff. That's where the money is at. You know what I'm saying? So if you go get your tax ID, and just to clarify the difference, church, EIN, tax identification number, TIN, that's for self individuals who don't want to use their social security number to identify themselves. So yeah, Wani, get the lawsuits going. An EIN number, employer identification number, that's what all of you in here need to get. EIN number, so we can hire each other. This is what these tellers do. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do. They come in here every 5 years. Don't forget they flip it over too, because after 5 years, they don't get you free taxes. You're supposed to start paying taxes. But you turn around, sell a business, say I'm out of business, I'm moving back to my country, but you hand the business over to your nephew that just came over from wherever. This is how these folks do. So when I went to go search again for a branch of the SBA, Small Business Administration, get this information, y'all. I posted on the Black America Owned Business, funded socially. Come up there, get this info. So when I went looking for it, the first place I actually went to was social services, because you can find an abundance of services that are free to the community. You feel what I'm saying? Just by going on your state, county, town, city, whatever local social service, health and human services website. All the information is there on how to get housing and all the stuff for free. Real rap. And I got some other info, but I ain't gonna spill the biggest on that. Hit me in the DM. I'll show you how to get to Section 8. Real talk. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I went to social services. They didn't have anything like what they have in the white communities, which is called an EDC. Repeat, EDC, Economic Development Corporation. Economic Development Corporation. These things are not in the hood. The ones that are EDCs in the hood are strictly job training services. This is why you
Mm.
could go to social services and get a job. They'll train you. OSHA be there. All the top companies, Amazon, UPS, they hiring every Wednesday. Come fill out an ad. We here, B. You know what I'm saying? Talking about ain't no jobs. All right, you might want to go over there. You know what I'm saying? Because if you ain't got no education skill and you just lost your job, that's where you need to be. Don't think for a moment that you as a Black Negro American should not access the federal government. You are crazy. You know what I mean? You should be down there. Give me all of it. Every bit of it. The same stuff, 13,500 EBT, and I want the 5,000 in cash benefits that you gave to the Tethernackers every month on a month. Go ahead, want to start the lawsuits up. So once I figured that out right there, Professor, I said, well, hold up a minute. I'm going to just go over to Union County because I'm from Essex County, New Jersey, North. I'm going over to Union County. I'm from there too. Shout out to the Union Naggers. We're all way in the building. We the best wrestling team in the nation. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. I'm going over here. Found them in 2 seconds flat.
Wow.
2 seconds flat, yo. Watch, just a simple Google search. You know what I mean? I signed up, did everything I had to do. Now here's the get them right here. Here's how they get us to still, even with the EDCs, which is a branch to the SBA. This their job, because they are for nonprofit, to teach you how to start from scratch a business from start to finish. My problem with them is it's the program I entered, which is a program for reform folks. We'll just say that, yo. Know what I mean? I was one of them bad kids. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, I'm gonna try this out, even though I already know what it is. It's a trick bag to see where I come from, background, what I know, what it is I'm doing. You think I'm one of the stupid ones. So this white lady, who I had to challenge time and time again, will not say her name because I'm still thinking about suing them Wani. You feel what I'm saying? It's on the back of my brain, but
Mm.
I could let it slide. But check this out. Who are you, cracker lady, Karen Botch, to tell me my business is not a business? You feel what I'm saying? When I'm in the home entertainment business, $400 billion a year annually and growing. You got some nerve. So everything you throwing at me, I'm chopping it back at you in a rebuttal, and you got nothing to say. I almost didn't even get into the program. You feel what I'm saying? But the person that let me in there, he was a, we'll say, melanated person. You feel what I'm saying? And once he saw me going back and forth with the Karen, he said, yo, you don't even need to challenge you. You know what I'm saying? He in there. So the situation is really the ruinous of the Karen. The constant every time we meeting up, you're supposed to be my liaison confidant in the business. Hey, you're supposed to be doing whoop, 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 whoop. This,
Right.
that, and the third. If you do this, do what I say. You know what I mean? If you ain't getting done, don't call me. You know what I mean? Hey, I got everything right here. Oh, you missing that? It's right here. So you still telling me that? Here's what I did to these people, right? After they gave me the money. You know what I'm saying? And I really don't care about this because they already know you ostracized me. So the reason why you need to go get a tax ID, people, when you go start a business and you're already 3 years behind. So don't think when you get the ID that you're going to be popping. Nah, you're 3 years behind technically. You know what I mean? So I already got free money from these folks because there are plenty of for-profit and non-profit grants out here that you could get from sometimes a bank or SBA. I got $2,500 straight cash. I ain't got to pay it back. It comes off as a credit balance every month, or out of your checking or whatever, or your credit rather worthiness. Or the three credit agencies, whatever. You know what I mean? It comes off of that, saying that you are paying your loan back in an X amount of dollars, 125 a month, whatever it is, off of 2,500. You know what I mean? And I don't got to pay it back. It's all free. I went and bought new equipment with that money. You know what I'm saying? But here was the reason why I didn't respond to these people. Because you keep telling me my business is not a business. So what the hell I need you for, B? I know what the hell I'm doing. I've been doing it for over 25 years, being in the music business. The last 10, 15, I ain't had no job. I sell media, stupid. You know what I'm saying? Why you think I do what I do? So don't tell me what I'm doing is not a business. Oh, your husband buys CDs? Why he ain't my customer? That's what I hit her with. She ain't never challenged me again after that. But the whole your business is not a business, that's gonna stop right here because you don't want to support the business. Or maybe you're prejudiced. I didn't even have to say that to them. You see that? Because whatever the conversation they had with her, you already know where that shit went. Why are you telling him that? When you clearly see this is an industry. People are actually mass producing this same stuff he's talking about. So why ain't the leader in the field? So and then let's not forget, okay, here come the lawsuit, right? Here it come. The person that got me in there, we'll say the melanated man, you feel what I'm saying? He told me to stick with the Karen because she has contacts of similar industries. So were you taking my fucking shit and giving it to these motherfuckers?
Well,
Because now I see the same media in your basic dollar store.
Well,
yep.
I'm going to read something really quick. Were you finished, WPI?
No, you got it. Go ahead, sister.
I was just going to say, I looked it up because I know this happened to me. So it says in the United States, it's legal for individuals who are not U.S. citizens or lawful residents, referred to as illegals, to open a bank account using an individual taxpayer identification number or EIN.
Hello.
These are issued by the IRS for tax purposes and they can be used for financial transactions. However, for a legal U.S. citizen, banks require a social security number. Okay? This is because the SSN is used to track tax obligations and to comply with financial regulations such as anti-money laundering and bank secrecy. So it in the Patriot Act. So they don't mind if these okay, I want to cuss. They don't mind if these people are
Do it. Do
laundering
it.
money. They don't mind if these people do things secretly within the bank. And they don't mind if these people do things against the Patriot Act. And then AI goes on to say, it may seem unfair, the discrepancy in requirements. Yeah, it's not only unfair to me, but it's dangerous and it encourages crime. Okay, it's dangerous to go against the Patriot Act and the anti-money laundering. That's why these people are over here committing tons of crimes and funneling money all over the place. And they're not going to get in trouble because I can create a million EIN numbers all day long.
Straight scamming.
Right.
Yeah, but we try to do something legally and get shut down. It's
I
so frustrating.
I think this is a lawsuit. They can say, "Oh, well, we're a bank. We get to do." Yeah, you are a bank and you get to do what you want. But how do you explain not being concerned that millions of people, because we have millions of people here illegally that we can't get out? How do you explain allowing them to flout the Bank Secrecy Act and the Patriot Act and any money laundering laws? Why are they allowed to do these crimes and be set up to easily do these crimes? And Americans are hamstrung every step of the way, whether it's some kid in the suburbs trying to sell some lemonade or somebody trying to sell some water, all the way up to opening up a bank account with an EIN number, which they say you can do. Now, if I right now say, hey, I'm illegal, I'm not giving you any social security number, somehow, some way, they're going to not open the bank account. I mean, they know somehow, some way, that account is not going to be open, and the illegal will be opening up a million accounts doing any number of things.
And they'll be giving them all kind of bank loans for housing, giving them bank loans for businesses and things like that. Our sister Brooke was talking about the children in the subway. That, and as a person who came from LA, and when I was coming up, that's how I made money. I was a part of a group of kids that went out and sold candy, sold oranges, sold loquats, and so to even hear that is upsetting. It's very infuriating because, to be honest with you, they're allowing these people to freaking sell mystery meat on the corner, barbecuing it using a goddamn a grocery shark, a grocery cart on the corner.
Preach.
Like, it makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense, and it just goes to show the discrimination against the average foundational Black American, because white folks don't have this issue, Latinos don't have this issue, any other race do not have this issue when it comes to funding in the SBA, and that's why. Yeah, and I agree with YP all day. Like, literally, we should put together a discrimination lawsuit, because through our experiences, that is a class action because it shows pattern. And pattern shows what you actually do on your average day.
Right. It's time for that change. Mr. Freedom. Mr. Freedom 96. It's good to see you, man. What's your addition to this?
Thank you so much for bringing me up. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed your time off. And what a great conversation. Wow.
Yeah.
It's not exactly where I thought it was going to go, but it's good to have to share this information, some good insights. The reason,
Freedom, give me 1 minute. I just thought about something. I forgot to ask WPI. Sorry, Freedom. Hey, WPI, you brought up a loan, like some type of loan. I never heard of it before. Would you DM it to me, bro, so I can look into it?
For sure, for sure.
All right, go ahead, Freedom.
yes, it's interesting that the subject came up as it relates to opening up a bank account. And the only reason I raised my hand is because I have experience doing just that. But I don't have a problem with us being highly, highly, highly litigious, meaning, uh, apt to sue somebody, uh, because when you learn how to sue and make claims and present claims for which relief can be granted, which is some of the reason why most of our cases are dismissed. You know how to structure that properly for civil and criminal procedure, then that's where a lot of money can come in. So it's possible that you can potentially do a discrimination lawsuit, 1964 discrimination lawsuit. That's possible. But the reason I raised my hand is because that's one of the areas that I work in, and Yeah, it is favored towards people that are foreign. Um, that is an issue, and but the reason why is because it is two things. It's called the court test and the control test, and that allows for the U.S. government or any corporation of the U.S. government to be able to have control over your company or jurisdiction. So you have to either satisfy those two or show that you're exempt from those types of control, where either a court can come in um, or the U.S. government can come in and control your company. So foreigners, because they're of another nationality, are exempted from that, and they know that process. But there's a nefarious part to it because they're shown how to. They're shown the exemptions and the loopholes and things like that, where we're not shown that. It's omitted. People don't share that information with us. Okay, so for me, when I did it, there's multiple ways you can do it, but I'll make it real quick. You can use an estate number and operate through an estate. Um, you can use what's called a foreign EIN number uh, or ITIN number. Um, so that's what the foreigners use. But you can get one, or you can have somebody who's a foreigner get one for you. Okay. Um, when you go to the bank, then you have someone as an agent on your behalf open up the bank account. All right, and then that separates yourself. You can have with that you can have a foreign person have control either over an estate or a trust, but you have to separate yourself personally. That's the where say it's not personal, it's business. You have to separate yourself whenever. And people that know this, that do business, when you're going for funding, or you're trying to even just open up an account, a business bank account, they want to see that you're separated from the business. They want to see that you have on paper separated yourself from your business. And then the best way is if you establish a business and then have that business be the owner or the grantor or creator of another business. That's even a higher level of separation. All right, because then you don't have to provide a social security number. You're saying this business is actually the owner of this business, and then it's applying. Okay, because it's easier to get bankruptcy. They're covered when it comes to bankruptcy. People have more rights actually than companies, and that's why they want to separate it from the personal. I hope that answers that question. Also, I posted down below. There's okay. Last part, and I'll land here. We have to learn law, and for whatever reason, we kind of when I bring stuff up like this, people automatically think it's negative. But that's something we got to do, because if you don't follow the laws, you'll think that you're being picked on. Okay. And I posted down there the Social Security Act. It literally says that no government organization can deny you benefits for not revealing your Social Security number. Okay. I posted that down there in the purple pill. If you bring that, print out a copy of that and bring that in, plus also posted the banker's manual. When you go into a place, bring the manual that they teach, say like the bank chairman, or the board, or any of the top employees there who are under management have to be taught from. Because when you bring in their own manual and you say, hey, you're breaking your own you're breaking your own rule right here, and this law says you can't deny me a service for not showing a social security number. You bring those two things in there, they have to open it up. But no rights.
Into the bank.
Yes, yes, I've done this, and
I've
I know.
heard this before. Um, that's interesting, but
But
I
you
didn't try it because I just
I've
I
actually
felt like it was bullied.
I actually tried it and it didn't work. I tried it with American Express. I tried it with Truist Bank, Trust Bank, or whatever it is. I've tried it with a couple of different areas,
hmm
and that does not work for everybody unless you're willing to go to court for it,
no,
and then you have to pay for
that's
it.
not true.
No, hold on, hold on. Let me. I'm just explaining my
I
experience.
understand.
So
But
you
you're
might
missing
be correct,
you're omitting a
but
part, and I have to correct it before you go forward. I'll let you finish, but I said
go ahead.
going through an entity, an estate, or a trust, you have to separate yourself. You said I tried it. Yeah, they know because you have a social. But if you bring in an entity and you separate yourself and you bring an agent in, okay, That's the
I
way
have a
you're
5 year
supposed to do it.
business. I have a business that's been established for 5 years. And my point to you on this is I get where you're coming from, my brother, and I appreciate all the knowledge
And this
that
is
you're
exactly
dropping.
what
My
happens when I bring you. I show
my
you the law, and I
look
bring you the manual.
look, my brother,
You get rebuffed. And I've
you're
done
you're
this.
literally thinking that I'm combating what you're saying. I'm giving you experience. It's not really combating what you're
It
saying
is.
because I actually tried what you're saying. And regardless of the fact, you still have to have some sort of funds in order to start a lawsuit. You still have to be able to, when you bring this type of information in there, it does not nullify the fact that these folks can still shut you down. That's one. Two, none of these illegals that's coming over here are separating themselves from their TIN number. And they're
The
still getting
rule.
everything. Hold on. They're still getting, if you remember when
They're already foreign. You're
COVID
not
was
listening to me, man.
PPP,
You did not
I'm
hear
sorry.
what I said. They're already foreign. That's why I started off. I prefaced it with the control test and the court test. Foreigners, they don't have jurisdiction. The government, U.S. government doesn't have jurisdiction. I walked you one, two, three, step by step, exactly how it works. I understand you're traumatized by the experience, but I know thousands of people that have done it by the letter of the law and forced the banks to do it correctly. I'm not saying you can't get pushback because they're not even used to that. People presenting those laws and showing their own manuals and making them follow their own rules. Now, if they don't do it after you actually present this law, which I posted in the purple pill, it's clear as day. They cannot deny you access to any benefits for not revealing that private social security number. It is not written in legalese at all. It's clear as day. Then
Well, let,
yes, you can sue. I understand that. So I'm not
let
I'm
me
not
ask a
negating.
quick. Let me ask a quick question. You mentioned an estate number. How does one obtain that?
It's the same process. You go to the Treasury IRS website and you fill in your information. It's nothing special,
Okay.
but it does separate. Now you're operating. You know, surname, family of is family
Hmm.
of whatever estate. You're operating through that corporate body.
And then the foreign. Would you say a person can still do this with a regular EIN number, not a foreign
Um,
one?
I mean, the foreign one actually is the best, only because it's the
It's
jurisdiction.
already
It's a
separate.
separate.
Okay, so
Correct.
if I have a domestic EIN number, can I still go in there and say I don't want to give you my social security number, open it with this or else?
You should bring in an agent of the company because you're separating yourself and you're having the agent go in. It would help to have someone who has a foreign passport and residence. You can
Mm-hmm.
hire them temporarily. They
Mm-hmm.
don't have to be they don't have to be permanent. It's just like you're hiring an employee to do a specific task, and once that task is done, it's over. But once that person is named as the primary trustee or executrix or executor for the
Mm-hmm.
estate, then because they're foreign, your entity is foreign. So that's on the foreign side. But there's another little loophole where you can incorporate in one state and then you bring your certificate of incorporation from the Secretary of State into another state and it's listed as foreign when you file there. So most places are filed in Delaware
Mm-hmm.
or some of these other
Mm-hmm.
states that are corporate
Yeah.
friendly, and then they
Right.
bring their certificate into another state.
Right.
So if I was to bring my certificate from California to Texas, then I should be able to qualify, correct?
When you file in Texas, it'll be considered a foreign company because although they're united, federally and on the same landmass, each state is actually separate unto its own.
Okay, so if I've still been denied, even though my company is from California and I'm in Texas, what would you suggest?
I would have to look at your. Let me ask you this. Let's go one by one, step by step, one by one. When you go in, you're applying for just a bank account, is what you're saying. You're being denied access to open a bank account, or you're applying for a loan. What are you trying to do?
No, no, it's a loan, not bank account. I'm able to open up bank accounts anywhere I go.
Okay, all right, because that's a separate thing. So when you're trying to get a loan, you should bring in someone who is an agent for the company. All right, and you should bring in two things, and I'll just go ahead and read it off. I guess let me ask you if you actually use this. It's the Privacy Act of 1974. You use this. You're saying you use this. It's Section
The
7,
Privacy Act of 1980. Yeah,
5
yes, the
U.S.
Privacy Act.
5 United States Code 552A, and let's see, it's Section 7A1. It shall be unlawful for any federal, state, or local government agency to deny to any individual any right, benefit, or privilege provided by law because of such individual's refusal to disclose his social security account number.
And this is the
Interesting.
Privacy Act of 1974,
Yes,
correct?
sir. December 31st.
Okay.
You have to see, the thing is, you don't have laws that you don't enforce. That's just the way it's
Hmm.
set up. And this, and also I want to mention this too, because I'm sharing this with love, but also because I literally live this life. My cars are in a trust, my land, home, that they're in separate trust. Like, I actually live like this. I have bank accounts. They have to agree to my terms and my clauses when I bring in, when I open up an account, even my investment accounts, all of that. I have accounts with Charles Schwab and different banks, but also for trading securities. I have to present to them my documentation for my trusts or entities, and they have to agree. We have to come to an agreement. We have to actually shake hands. I'm not just signing, yes, I agree to their terms. They have to agree to my terms as well. Okay. And that's how we should do business with people, but also enforcing these laws as well. And you go and get their manual and the laws that govern them first. And don't be afraid to get a CPA, to get a consultation with a CPA or an attorney, and ask them, is this possible? Sometimes we limit ourselves and think it's not possible, or we bump our head. And I want you to know it's very, very possible. I know thousands of people, I'm one myself, who have done this. Okay?
So, do you think the only thing that I need to do is to bring in an agent of my company if I've already taken down the Privacy Act of 1974?
Well, you want to separate yourself as a, because you have a position in your company. I would assume that you're a controlling
Yes, and
position.
I also have a registered agent that's registered through the state.
Well, correct. Yeah, yeah. You everyone. Well, you can be your own registry, but you should have, like, Walters Kluwer, or that's the most popular. But a registered agent. Um, it helps to separate your, because that's what companies are looking for. Again, that's why I mentioned bankruptcy. The best structure is to have a company be the settlor or grantor to create another company, because both can be bankrupted. So then that's covered. Okay, that's what they're looking for. But if you do have a person come in, have it be an agent, not you as the decision maker. It would help if they were foreign, have a foreign passport, nationality, and residence, even temporarily. Then and have a controlling percentage of control over the company for that period of time when they're opening up the bank account. That's all they're looking for. But if you don't want to go the foreign route, bring in that law. And also bring it. It says it's mirrored in the banker's manual, which I posted there. You can find that. I'll go ahead and dig a little bit and find the exact point where it says it.
The
But
exact law. Thanks. I appreciate it if you knew it,
use that.
Arthur.
Yeah, no, no. I'll go. I don't. I mean, some
So,
people.
one quick thing. Now, we were talking about um us using these alternate numbers rather than our social security number. Why is it okay for tens of millions of people to do this if it's such a big problem with the Patriot Act and all this other stuff? What is it called? The Patriot Act?
Money laundering. I'll give you
Money
a real
laundering?
simple answer, and it might blow your mind.
Okay,
But
go
it
ahead.
epiphany came to me and makes perfect sense. The United States was designed to be a beachhead to where foreigners can come and ransack the continental United States, or the Americas. That's what it is. So for foreigners, it's bring your criminals. It's bring whoever to come and do whatever kind of crime and break whatever kind of law or laws don't apply to them, so that they can come here and take root and manifest their destiny and Northwest Ordinance and all that kind of stuff. That's what it is. It's
So
designed for
only
foreigners to invade.
it's I'm just looking at this. It's there's no problem if they launder money,
Right.
if they don't adhere to the Bank Secrecy Act, and
Hmm.
if they are going against the U.S. Patriot Act. It's like it's no problem if they run across the border with COVID, because I remember clearly during the lockdown that we were being told to wear masks and get vaccinations, and yet they were crossing the border and being spot checked, and they came up with, I think they said 118 people had COVID
Right.
when they tested them, and then they just put them on trains, buses, and planes to wherever they were going. And so I don't understand why they don't have to follow the rules to the point of spreading disease and crime.
Because they're not U.S. citizens. Those rules only apply to U.S. citizens.
Preach.
That's as clearly as plainly as I can put it. But if you create an entity to separate yourself from it, then that that's where the remedy comes, and you hold them to these laws. Because I just read it to you, and I hope y'all looking in the purple pill. It's a real thing. Use that and use their manuals. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised what you can do. I hope that helps. And brother, what's your name? The church. I can show you people some examples. Um, some of my own personal examples, and I'll be glad to point you in the right direction. But if you ask any CPA or business attorney as well, they can corroborate that. They won't tell you unless you ask. That's the key. You got to ask, seek, knock, but they won't tell you.
Well, I look forward to it, brother. I appreciate
Okay,
you.
I'm gonna follow you right now. All right, peace.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Freedom. He really knows his stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Earlier, I want to give him some accolades. Earlier, he brought up having a it's called Rule 12B, like dismissing an action for lack for not having a relief granted relief. That's how so many things get dismissed in these types of actions. Is you're not really it doesn't fit the box. It's no way to grant relief. But I'm just saying, you really know your stuff, man. I'm glad you came on today. I'm always glad to hear you talk on our spaces. WPI, what's on your mind, bro?
Yeah, everybody's talking good stuff. Hold on, let me come back over here so I can see everybody. I'm over here in the matrix. So, yeah, everybody's saying what they're saying, and it's all facts 100%. You know what I mean? But, the sad thing is we shouldn't have to do all this stuff to get by in America. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's really always going to be to get them. So, shout out to Byron Allen. Here's what you can give him some credit at. When Obama asked him, hey, how can we help Black America, financially, basically, here's Byron a rebuttal or response. All you got to do is audit the banks to see if they're doing lending to Black people in the
Hmm.
sense of home loan, auto loan, business loan,
Huh.
whatever the loan, emergency loan.
Just that
It's
simple, huh?
just that simple. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? So don't forget Obama took Negro off the census in the Dawes rolls, and he never did anything for Black people. So he is the real cause of our problems post Obama era. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, shout out to that though. Shout out to the room.
Yeah, right on. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want more information on disparities in Black history in the Jumbotron, you'll see Our Story Publications. I wrote volume 3 of my book talking about these issues. If you want it, put $25 in the Jumbotron on Our Story Publications on the Cash App. Put your full address, and it'll come out to you. Put your full name, full zip, and full address, and it'll come out to you. In addition, momentarily you'll see Onthespotts Cash App. Please show her love for all of her scholarship and wisdom on these spaces. Um, Anybody else want to come up and speak? Well,
Professor,
as, go ahead, bro.
WPI, I request to follow him because I want a little information. Let him know that.
Hey, WPI, look for housing, and housing wants you to follow him back, bro. Housing is good people. He's been on our spaces for a while.
Yeah, housing. Just followed you back. Check your
I
DM right
see it.
there,
I
and I
see it,
sent
brother.
you space.
I'll chop it
Yeah,
up
check
with
the
you. I'll
DM
chop
real
it up
quick.
with you.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Just check your DM real quick. We have a new community up on our Funded Socially platform called Black and Unhoused. So if y'all want some information about, like, some folks hit me about the Section 8, that's up to your state. Every state is different. I'm in New Jersey where we pay the most property taxes. So it's plenty of money floating around here to get some Section 8. But every state is different. But Biden was giving this stuff away. We just didn't know about it. Like some of my elders say, there's plenty of money in the street. It's just not in the black neighborhood. You see what I'm saying? But I'll let that.
That's where all listen. That's where the clothing warehouses at in Jersey.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah,
manufacturing over here. Okay,
that's where
so
I
check it
go.
out.
Big
I got
time
I got
over
a, I got
there.
a stock tip.
Dirt
Yeah,
cheap
yeah. I
too.
got a stock tip for you. I got a stock tip for you. You ready for this one?
What's
Let
that?
me know when y'all ready. I'll give y'all 5 seconds. One, two, three, four, five. Right.
Come on with
Go
it.
go online. Go online. Right. Over here
Okay.
in North New Jersey. Right. Shout out to Brick City. Lionsgate Cinema is coming to Essex County, Newark, New Jersey specifically. Lionsgate Cinema, because a lot of companies are leaving California. Governor Newsom, he fucking shit up out there. You know what I'm saying?
Big
And
time,
he ain't
big
giving up
time.
Negroes no
Ain't
reparations. So
nobody
we,
gonna live out
you know
here
what I'm saying?
soon.
Oh, Burn is messing up out there, sister. You know what I'm saying? So Lionsgate Cinema is coming down here to Newark, and just look at their stock price. It's like under $10 right now. But when that facility is built, I'm pretty sure the stock is gonna go up. So when you say, "Hey, no one tell us anything," well, you just told something. But here's the problem with that, right? And the reason why I got a problem with it, not that the facility is coming to Newark, that's a good thing, right? But how many Black Americans that are film producers, record producers, engineers, lighting technician, directors? You could probably name one or two in between. So our people aren't getting those jobs, and obviously Lionsgate, they got their own people, and they're affiliated with this other company that's somewhere in New York that already has been doing this, similar to the big name Lionsgate, the parent company.
Dude, they got the
So
whole Yonkers. They got the whole downtown Yonkers.
yeah, yeah, that's where that place is at in Yonkers, right? You
They
know what I'm
brought
saying?
the
So I
whole
knew it was somewhere in
strip
New
by the
York, right?
water.
Well,
I
hey,
like saying
Yonkers is his own
Yonkers.
place. Oh, I'm
Say
sorry,
it
Ronnie. Go
again.
ahead.
I just said I like saying Yonkers.
Why yo? Deep up.
I used to like
Nah,
saying Yonkers too, Wani.
Yonkers.
But
You got to
listen,
get it. It needs
Wani,
to be more nasal
Wani,
activity.
they brought the
Yonkers.
whole listen,
Yonkers.
they brought a whole block,
well,
Lionsgate.
well, hey, bro, the property they got out here, you talking probably 12 city square blocks, bro.
I feel like
In New
Lionsgate
Jersey.
is in Douglasville. I mean, in outside of Atlanta. Is that the same thing?
It probably is. They got movie facilities, across the country or whatever. But
Wow.
we talking. This is some mass industrial stuff, bro. You feel what I'm saying? On the where it's going to have 5 movie theaters or 5 movie production
Studios.
facilities.
Yeah.
Yeah, studios. Facilities, studios. Where we talking? These things are X amount of feet by X amount of square feet. And the reason why I say this thing, like you said, the one in Yonkers, that's a whole city block. And the New York City block is like 1,000 blocks in the one if you're walking. But they knocked the projects down out here in New Jersey called Seth Boyden, SETH Boyden. You know what I mean?
Whoa.
So go look up if you can some more Google photos of Seth Boyden and look up the new rendering of the new Lionsgate facility that's coming here to North. But again, like I said, my issue with bringing that up is one, look at the IPO, which is the stock market, or what they're offering per share. Hold that thought. The other argument is our people won't get those jobs. But hold up, you're building this facility in a 51% majority Black American neighborhood, Newark, New Jersey. So how can we get in if we don't have the skills to pay the bills? You got to go invest your little $10, $20 in that stock market. Because once they start producing films, hey, someone going to the movies, we got the Shack Theater right here. I know you be cooning Shaq, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Thanks for the movie theater.
Who
You know what I'm
represent
saying?
who represent not to cut you off, but say who represent that area over there when it comes to the politicians?
Oh, Roscoe Baraka all day, and don't vote for him for governor if you're living in New Jersey. He the one, the reason they got the tethers over here. 2016, he ran for election, won, started advocating for what do they call it? A sanctuary city or whatever. You know what I mean? No one voted on that. Then 2020 came. Murphy got reelected by the skin of his teeth. made New Jersey a sanctuary state. No one voted for that. So this is why you see the illegals heavy out here in New Jersey. I got one more for you. So back to the Section 8 thing, right? Hey, Wani, start the lawsuits, or this is about to have you working, sister. Hey, Wani, cash app. You know what I'm saying? She gonna need some money and food. You know what I'm saying? So Governor Murphy needs to go to jail. Check this out. When he gave this Hispanic woman by the name of Jacqueline Suarez the position to be head of DCA. Look up DCA in your community or state. DCA, Department of Community Affairs. It should be in every state. You know what I mean? Which is Section 8 housing, HUD, whatever, right? Department of Community Affairs. So the original person that was running that out here in New Jersey was a sister by the name of Sheila Oliver. Rest in peace. East Orange in the building. You already know. So she made sure our folks got what we needed. You know what I'm saying? So may you rest in peace. So, but the following couple months, there was no runoff or whatever for the position, and you just gave it away free willingly. You know what I mean? Murphy to this first generation Hispanic woman by the name, or Latina, whatever, by the name of Jacqueline Suarez. This was in summer of 2023. Check this out, people. I saw the article and I ignored it, yo. I looked dead at it and just like, all right, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even looking at this right now. Bang, the following summer, last year, I had my own housing crisis. I could not find an apartment where I'm born and raised at. Why is that? The illegals, professor out here, are the property owners now. They are the rental agents. They're the brokers. They're the maintenance person. They're the people occupying the housing and the residence. They are locking us out. I just got discriminated real rap. So searching for
Wow.
this stuff, guess
Mm,
what comes up?
all over
The
the
exact
place.
same article. This is the exact same article. You know what I mean? Damn, this was in my face. God showed it to me, and I ignored it because it was going to happen to me when I had my little housing situation because my music studio got flooded. And I'm not paying you more money, sir. You know what I'm saying? To rent this place no longer. I'm gone, but I didn't think this shit was going to happen. Where it's like it took me 6 months to find the place I'm at talking to y'all now. So, Lord
That's
looked out,
exactly
family
how it
looked
is
out.
out here. It's all everything is owned by foreigners,
Right.
and they're all racist, and
Mm-hmm.
they only want their own people in, and they view white people as, like they would rather have their own people, but they'll take a white person if they're not committing crimes. But if it's like an Armenian neighborhood or a Mexican neighborhood or any other kind of neighborhood, they don't want Americans in. It's pretty interesting dynamic.
Yeah, it's just an invasion. That's what it is.
Cut
It's
the check,
warfare.
man. Cut the
Yeah.
check.
Cut the check. Ladies and gentlemen, I have learned so much. I really appreciate the wisdom that was put on this. I sat back. You notice I hadn't really had much to say. I've been taking notes.
Mm-hmm.
Man, WPI, man, you've been on fire, bro. Mr. Freedom, you've been on fire. Thank you, church. I appreciate it. Um,
I do too.
yeah, housing, appreciate you.
Oh, one last thing,
Go
Professor, I
ahead.
want to say real quick. Don't be afraid to open up a business banking account online. There's a lot of banks that you can open up your bank account online. And if you got your corporation paperwork, um, that cuts out a lot of the discrimination there. You see what I'm saying?
Wow, yeah.
So, for me, I've opened more accounts online that way. Um, that cuts out the ability for them to because look, they're following their laws, which is to gatekeep and only give to each other. Or you could subvert it a little bit by saying, all right, I'm going to get, I know all your laws are bent towards these people, so I'm going to get a Native American agent to come in there because I know that you have preference in specific loans and things for people who are Native American when they apply for loans. um, you might even hire a Jewish person, because they get zero interest loans when they apply. You can just hire them, to do that specific job of opening up the bank account.
Well, I think his name is John Johnson. The guy from Ebony Magazine, he did that. He's a genius. He wanted a building in Chicago. I don't know Chicago very well. I've only been a couple times, but it's some building downtown on a really nice street, and he wanted it. He said he always wanted it. And when he got his um, um, second big check, $1 million check. He said he went to buy it because it was for sale, and they told him ain't no N words gonna buy this building. So he did that. He had hired a white lawyer to go buy the building, and the lawyer said you need to inspect it first. So Johnson pulled up in his brand new 500 Benz and dressed like a janitor and got out his Benz and went in there with a mop to clean the building up. And they were like, "What are you here?" "Oh, I'm here to clean it." He said he inspected it as he cleaned it up. And he said he walked back outside to his Benz, took off his janitor uniform, and drove off. We do need to think that way.
I had to do something similar where I just used a broker to go look at something because they were like, oh no, it's not available now. Because I needed to have this temporary office in my neighborhood just so I could walk over there. And I liked the location. And I had to, they were like, oh no, we don't have any vacancies. I'm like, yes, you do. You have multiple vacancies. And so I had to get a broker. He went over there and then they got scared that I was going to sue him. Yeah, they still do that stuff. Present day. And they are discriminating against me, present day. And they've been doing, they did that to my mother. My mother had to get people to rent apartments at the beach. They did not want any black Americans or anybody like my mother at the beach. My mother wanted her own fun apartment at the beach. Very small apartment, nothing big, just to hang out. Because we like going to the beach. Same thing, same thing. Had to do all these jumping through hoops because they have an inside deal with each other that we are not going to rent to anyone black. And my mother was a married woman, personable, had her own income. There was no income problem, no problem at all. They knew they were going to get their rent, but they did not like my mother's skin tone at all.
That's sad.
Yeah,
And
and it's
nothing's
still going on.
changed.
Yeah,
Nothing's changed. Nothing.
They did it to my
Professor.
grandmother, my mother, and they did it to me.
Hey, Wani, a quick story. I have a friend. This house. You ever heard of Scarsdale?
Uh huh.
The richest county in Westchester. Anyway, he was moving back down here from upstate, so he found out this place was for sale. So he went to the broker. Broker took 10,000. Says you can look at it. So the thing is that the broker told him that the water system is messed up. I mean, the cesspool. I mean, the plumbing is messed up. So if you want to buy this place, you got to do a bunch of digging. So that requires thousands of permits from Scarsdale. Make a long story short, he went in there himself to examine the place to see what was wrong with it. And what he did is he turned all the water on and found out where the leak was at. And the cesspool was operable, but the broker didn't tell him that. Make a long story short, two pipes, he took a picture of two pipes and he brought the house. But the broker was trying to discriminate on him. So he bypassed the broker and went directly to the bank and says, yo, I've been trying to buy this house. What's the problem? So the bank got in the broker's crap. You know what I'm saying? So the broker came over there, says, yo, I'm terribly sorry, this, that, and the third. At the end of the day, he fixed the two broken pipes and the cesspool was working. He paid roughly $300,000, $400,000 for the house. Guess how much the house was worth once he got it together?
How much?
3 million.
Wow.
Yes, 3 million. Because the Scarsdale, with $80,000 tax annually. That's a lot of money.
Love it.
$80,000 tax.
Yeah, property tax.
For what?
Yeah, for a house over there. That's
No,
how
no,
expensive
no,
is it
no,
over there.
no.
That's too
That ain't,
much.
they ain't rolling like that. I don't know what they think they got over there.
Mm-mm.
Must be on mega crack.
something.
It's Wani. You should, but
It
listen,
Not to mention that.
cannot be that good.
you,
That
but the,
sounds crazy as
but
hell because
Scarsdale. I'm
Texas
telling you,
has some of the
Scarsdale, New
highest
York.
property taxes.
Yes, they got
Mm,
the highest property taxes in Westchester, besides Harrison and Rye, New York. Absolutely.
Look, I know for a fact every year for my property taxes, we're spending about 5 grand every
well,
single
that's
Which
year.
is,
normal.
yeah, that's a lot to me.
It's a lot, but it's normal.
Yeah.
$80,000? No, 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 no.
And if property value has gone up, hadn't it? I mean, like, because yeah,
Yeah, every time my
Yeah,
value goes up, my taxes go up.
yeah, that's how I noticed.
but you know what? Trump is trying to get rid of that.
The
Oh,
property
I've heard.
taxes?
The property. I think he's trying to get rid of that.
Ew, sounds nice.
No,
Oh
I think
yeah,
he's trying to get
A
rid of the
lot
income
of
tax
things.
as
Oh,
a
what
whole.
is
Yeah,
it?
that's
The
what I
income
thought.
tax.
The income tax, yeah.
Boy, his whole platform is just a big fat Christmas list for me.
for
Yeah,
adults, yeah.
and he said you ain't tax and you can't tax the senior citizens.
Except for the part where I have to go pick cotton. But other than me picking cotton,
Hey, listen, man.
it's
Other than
Basically,
great.
that,
anything that has to do with economics, it's looking good. But then when we become the economics, hell no.
But Professor, you got the leftist media scaring black people, and they
They
getting
should be
on
right,
the
sued as
platform
well.
talking about, oh, he's taking this from black people, the Medicaid, this, that, and the third.
Why can't they be sued? Anybody know? Because they're
Say that
just
again.
flat out lying. They're saying that we're going to be picking cotton,
Because you have to prove libel,
right.
and a lot of people you can't prove libel off of someone's
lying out of their
opinion.
butt.
Right, a lot of people will sit there and say it's their opinion on there, but they'll say it a lot later. They will say, "Oh, Trump is doing A, B, C, D, and E, D, but this is just my opinion. If we don't do this, that, and the third, and that's
Are
how
you
they're able to get
sure they
away with
say
it.
my opinion? Because I hear them
Sometimes they don't,
not
but
saying it
if
and
they're
then
on a
getting
station,
called to the carpet later and having to make an announcement.
But Wani, the thing is, right?
sometimes they
If you
don't. You're
once you
right.
ask him, you saying he's doing all these things. Explain to me what he's doing. They can't, because you know
Well, that's
why?
because they're too busy picking cotton to respond to us now.
Yes, they fingers is sweating 100 miles an hour.
Hmm.
Yeah,
But Housing,
There's
you're
no
absolutely
Wi-Fi
correct on
signal
that
around all that
because
cotton.
even in one of my political classes, right, I have a bunch of people who's completely against me because it's full of a room full of children of tethers. And literally, as I explain to them, they'll sit here like they'll put up like this news article and they'll ask us about it. And everybody in the room will start losing them damn shits. And I have to explain to them, like, hey, you guys are way too emotional about something that's business. And this is the problem. An emotional mind is an easily manipulated mind. So if you're allowing these people, and this is why the Democratic Party does what they do, they keep their constituents emotional. And that way their constituents
Mhm.
don't go around asking questions. They don't start saying, wait a second, well, y'all told us we didn't have reparations money. Well, why are you giving out $80 billion to figure out whether or not a frog can turn into a goddamn duck? Like
And they tried to
people,
lie their way out of those transgender mice and
yes,
then got
yes,
caught again lying. God
absolutely.
damn.
but
But one of the things I wanted to say real quick, don't stop dropping that information though, because I consistently I'm to the point where when I speak in my classroom, everybody goes, him again, right?
yeah.
But I have a friend, someone in the classroom who just showed herself to be a friend, where she came up to me and she told me after class, she was like, please don't ever stop correcting the facts because every time they make us emotional about something, especially with the whole Social Security thing, everybody was made emotional about that. And I had to explain. The Secretary of the Security came out and said Elon don't even have access to it. It's two employees who work for the Department of the Treasury, and they don't even have any type of access to change anything. It's only on read only. And if they wanted to change anything, they couldn't change anything. It has to go through the Federal Reserve.
Now,
Information like that, it tends to change people after going to do their own damn research. Because, like I said, one of the ladies in the class came to me and she was like, honestly, just keep doing what you're doing because a lot of stuff that you talk about turns out to be true. And we're just getting fed a whole goddamn fistful of lies. And if we're not looking into it, we believe them. And I said, exactly, that's the problem. They feed you lies, they feed you overly emotional content so that you don't have the brain to think for yourself and start asking
Fear
questions.
mongering.
I
Fear
wanted
mongering.
to ask the professor, didn't you mention, Professor, that some of your students were foreign and they had, they were upset about things?
Well, yeah, they were really upset when Trump challenged the 14th Amendment. It was a wave of fear that went over. I teach at a PWI institution, and there was a wave of fear that went over when Trump was um, challenged the 14th Amendment. And I had to explain that Trump was actually, correct with the 14th Amendment. It was never intended for immigrants. It was intended for Black Americans, and that Supreme Court justices have the prerogative for original intent. Should they use original intent as a criterion to judge his actions, I think his actions are going to stand up in with the Supreme Court.
I hope you are right.
I would bet money on it, because he installed half of them.
Well, I
Well,
But
hope
also,
you're right.
there's precedent for it. Like, there's been several times that people tried to use the 14th Amendment in order to get, hell, white women even tried to use 14th Amendment to get their right to vote. The Supreme Court shut that down. And they
right,
said the exact same thing. It's not meant for anybody outside of the descendants of slaves or those who were enslaved.
Oh my goodness, I
right,
So
didn't know that.
there's precedent.
he's
Yeah,
right,
there's like
Oh,
six different court
wow.
cases that
and
sets precedents for this.
it's ridiculous. It shows the heart of this country, the intent of this country, because at first the 14th Amendment was shut down and tried to use as a justification for businesses, because corporations are considered a person, which makes no sense. But it was used to support the privileges and prerogatives of businesses, given the fact that they're considered a person.
Yeah, that was the Citizens United situation where they were basically saying that they should be able to have the same rights as a human being because of the fact that they are representing the rights of several human beings within their company or something like that.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
but that's what it is, the Citizens United case.
He's right. He's exactly right.
Citizens United versus Federal Election Committee, I think it is. And that
Yep.
happened
There you go.
during Obama.
Absolutely.
Hello, Gia. Did you want to say something?
Hey,
Um,
Gia.
I
oh, hey
noticed you were
everyone.
on. Hey, I noticed you were on the stage. I didn't know if you had your hand up.
I did for a little bit. I was gonna kind of add on to the gentleman who was speaking in terms of having like these conversations in academic settings. I've been seeing that too, like in my courses that I'm taking. I'm taking like some courses where we're talking about like the study of like Asian American studies, and seeing how in these textbooks they have like just the lies, the lies, the lies, and they really believe and how they write their textbooks where they say that like they believe that Asians have significantly contributed to the wealth of the United States,
How?
which is just through the railroads.
They built
Oh,
700
no.
miles or less, and they were helped by a boatload of other immigrants. Why are they
600,
lying like that?
680 to be
Right,
correct, Lonnie.
680. I
And
Yeah,
it
gotta
was
and
get
on
that's
the
my
west
numbers
side
straight.
of the world.
We have in our history and foundational Black American history is so many instances of us building the railroad. John Henry wasn't no damn foreigner. I don't
No,
even get that.
Yeah, they just
we
came
built,
along later. They just came
right, we
along
Ex-
built
later.
over 3,000 miles of full train tracks and train cars and everything else.
And
They,
didn't get paid for it.
right, and they worked. and built only 680 miles with
and got paid.
a bunch of Irish people and other it wasn't even
Yes.
just them.
And it was
But
on the
If
West Coast too, Wani.
God,
if they
right, it
weren't
was on the West
foundational Black
Coast.
American, they were a different race of people who came by. They were kind of like contractors who came by later to help
Mm-hmm.
out. They weren't
Mm-hmm.
building it. They were just helping out later.
No,
Hey, and they
I'm just
got. I'm sorry.
oh go ahead. I've just been
Hey,
seeing this in like in an academic study because I've never taken in ethnic studies, I've never taken it from a different perspective and seeing the conversation that they are putting in like their mythos of like their origin stories of other cultures. And I'm like, if you did this, then build the wealth of the United States and all the contributions. They even have like we haven't even gotten to that part, like in my core studies, where they are positioning Asian people as civil rights leaders, and it's just like mind blowing. But when going through like the syllabus, I've like seen the conversation going that way. So I do make it a point when I am sharing discussions or when I'm putting forth things, number one, using like the language of addressing foundational Black Americans as foundational Black Americans, making sure that I'm defining it, and also putting in things of when we were talking about the railroads, putting forth and saying not just the points that everybody made put forth, but also how it was foundational Black Americans when people were getting paid through the bonds of building these railroads. The bonds were the bonds were able to have collateral being cashed in based off of slave labor. So the bonds wouldn't have ever been even issued in the first place if it wasn't for foundational Black Americans. So just putting in these conversations and these conversations in academia and consistently advocating, because seeing like how they're planting these seeds while in school, making sure to always consistently push back on that narrative.
Well, yeah, school books are the primary vector of attack on our children and on our minds. You can have the best teacher in the world, but if he's using a book that's trained to undermine the confidence of foundational Black American children, the children are still going to be destroyed. That's why I created a book history book series. Um, that you can purchase in the jumbotron for $25. Just put $25 on the Cash App of Our Story Publications and put your full address in there, and I'll send it out tomorrow. And if you bought the copy of the book, I've already sent your copies out. I appreciate it. So y'all should be receiving them in the next couple of days. We're gonna get a couple. Gee, I followed you back. I really enjoyed what you were saying.
I was going to
Um,
say something real quick before we go to the next person.
Go ahead, Wani.
Um, they have this deep, deep desire, and I don't know 100% who's doing it, probably go globalist, but they want to make these rootless immigrants feel like they're a part of America. And these random Chinese people that are coming over here have nothing to do with the railroad in the first place. It was the first group. Everybody that you're going to run into is foreign. They've been outnumbered by foreigners as well. So no, that's the same thing they try to do with hip hop. We need to make everyone feel like they're a part of it because they need to feel a part of
Wanting to
America.
include. Yeah.
So even if we have to lie and make fake history for these people, that's they feel rootless, but they don't mind if we feel rootless. You see,
But
it's for the comfort of everyone else.
Wani, I think it's deeper. It's more insidious than that. I fell asleep last night. I missed that space you had with Tariq, but it was epic when you were arguing with a Pia, a Pia, whatever his name is. The that is
Oh
the
hell
problem. The
no,
problem,
fire!
man, it was epic. But
I told you she my spirit animal. 100.
man, that
Tell us
shit was
gonna
like a
tell us. Tell us gonna tell her.
dog. That shit was like an exorcism. Um, but anyway, he exposed the issue. The issue is that Americans, Black Americans, are indigenous to this land. That's a scientific fact, and the white power structure, dominant society, has done a lot of effort to try to get ahead of that narrative, get way 10 steps ahead of that narrative by not only making us think that we're not. indigenous to this land and tethering us to some homeland in Africa, but also to make other people think that they have a right to this land and that they have some type of um, connection to this land that they do not. The Chinese espousing that the Chinese are somehow um, responsible for the building of America vis-a-vis the railroad is so it's just so out there. Like Howard Zinn, I mean, Dr. Claude Anderson doesn't even mention the Chinese when he talks about the railroad companies in his books, in Black Labor, White Wealth, um, where we were. He
Hey,
says,
I was
"quote
gonna say, what's the reason for that, though? You ever thought about it?
What do you
Because
mean?
they came much, much later. There wasn't a significant part of the building of the railroads, and that's why Dr. Claude Anderson put them in, barely mentions them in his book because of the fact that they're barely a part of the building of the railroads.
I don't see where he mentions them at all. I was looking for it as y'all were talking. I don't see that he mentions them at all."
He doesn't, but I actually, what's so funny is I actually quote Dr. Anderson in my responses, and I quote him in my papers that I submit, which is even more funny. I quote that, and I quote from Roy Beck, The Case Against Immigration, and I tell the story of immigration where they more so see themselves as they didn't understand like why white people or why Europeans in America did not fully accept them, but brought them forth here and put out, solicited for them to come here. And I tell the perspective of, well, what's missing from your conversation or what's missing from the conversation is you never talk about how foundational Black Americans, there's a direct correlation between immigration as well as foundational Black American labor, and calling those things out. Calling, if it wasn't for foundational Black Americans, we would not see immigrants from any other places besides Europe because they were specifically brought here to undermine us, and citing this specifically from Dr. Anderson and from Roy Beck.
Yeah, I'm putting in the jumbotron right now something that's gonna piss all y'all off from page 145 of Black Labor, White Wealth. Dr. Anderson says, "quote Railroads use slaves to do the heavy loading, maintain tracks, and railroad cars." He says many railroad lines actually purchase slaves as property and business equipment. It's just like, for Christ's sake.
Hey, so I'll give you the small logistics of it, which I believe Dr. Claude Anderson also said, because he got like 1,000 videos. How could the Asians or Chinese or whoever built the railroads when y'all was weakened in internment camps? You know how heavy a railroad tie is? Only a slave got the strength for that to lift it. Let's go. Mhm.
They didn't
Yeah.
do anything. Not only did we build the train tracks, we also invented things to make the train run. Those real McCoy inventions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We also created
A
a whole
couple of, a
music.
couple of.
Yeah, lots of inventions that people
And
are
we
running
also
around.
sustained the tracks.
Yeah, all of these things, maintaining the tracks. We also created music genres on the tracks and were credited by these men that went on to become the fathers of country music. And they said, oh, this person taught me how
You
to
know,
play like this and how to pluck like this and how to sing like that. We have everything to do with the train track, including being owned by the railroad companies. And I think
Wani,
I
Yeah, can we
left
go back
something
to
out.
John? Can we go to John Henry really quick? That brother brought it up. I meant to bring it up a
Yeah.
long time ago with you all. Yeah, he was a real guy. You know what I'm saying? They wanted to say he wasn't. He tried to beat that machine. I think he did, but he had that smoke inhalation, and he ended up killing himself. Trying to prove himself to white master, which was kind of stupid. But I mean, they don't talk about that. That's just the one thing they just don't say.
Wani,
No, you're
we,
absolutely
hey
right.
Wani,
That's why. Oh,
Yes.
I'm
we
sorry.
discussed that last month. And remember I
The
explained to you?
railroad.
Yes, and remember I
Mm-hmm.
explained to you the exact number? Because in the
Mm-hmm.
books and everywhere you go, they said Chinese built 700 miles of railroad.
Right.
Yes, but remember when I told you I went to GT Chat and
Mm-hmm.
GT Chat said that, and I had to correct GT Chat because in in AI, they said Chinese played a significant role in building the train tracks.
Right.
Right.
They lie for
But
them.
when I explained to AI, that's incorrect, and I explained to him it was Black America, and then he changed his whole platform, and he says, "Thank you for teaching me." This is
Real
AI.
quick,
Yeah. Yep.
real quick, real quick. My brother, and this is to everybody in the room, continue to do that. The reason why is because ChatGPT is literally it's an algorithm, right? And it's continuously learning. And I've been having these same type of conversations with ChatGPT just to see what would come up. Whether it's Native Black Americans before the founding of America, whether it's the term African American or things like that. ChatGPT tried to bring up some history about Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, and then he said, "Well, African Americans are this, that, and the third." And I'm like, "Please don't use African American ever again when referring to foundational Black Americans, also known as American freedmen. We are not Africans. We are the basis and the foundation of the country." And like he said, ChatGPT will come back and say, "Well, thank you. I will keep that in mind for the next time someone asks me."
Yes,
And then
you can
I
correct.
will
You
go,
can correct
Okay,
AI.
can I get in?
"Oh
Well,
yeah,
tomorrow we're going to discuss the dangers of that. I'm going to touch on that tomorrow of AI. With the total force community, I used to be a aerospace education officer. I used to program. I know how to program. It's called a chat by artificial intelligence from the ground up, from shell code, and it's very dangerous. Um, we're going to discuss the dangers of that because if you think about it, um, I'm a millennial. We were the first generation to grow up on computers, and there's some concern with respect to AI of it taking over our minds, and I'm afraid that the Gen Z and Gen Alpha
Mm-hmm.
me and Nikki were talking about this the other day. Gen Alpha is not going to know how to think, and then you have people in our spaces saying, "No, people, man, if you don't know what you're talking about, just don't talk on it." People say, "Man, no, 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 you can train AI, you can train it to do what you want." Well, here's the thing: psychologically, like I said, I'm an early millennial, and we grew up on spell check. I remember a time when I could actually spell. I remember that. And after high school, and like none of my friends could spell. Spell check took away our ability. It crippled us. It handicapped us. So if spell check could take away your ability to spell, do you think that it's a possibility that Chat GPT and the like will take away our children's ability to think? And I think
Yes, sir.
that's the objective.
Professor,
Professor.
that is very profound because as a millennial myself, I'm an '86 baby. Uh, when you said that, it hit me dead in the heart because I was a spelling bee mother lover. You give me something, I spell it with no issue. And nowadays, I'm sitting here when I'm trying to write something out, I have to look up to the sky like, how do you spell that
Uh
again?
huh.
So, so no, you're absolutely correct on that. I salute to you, bro.
Hey,
Yeah, yeah.
Professor,
It's.
Professor.
we
Go
got our
ahead.
phones correcting us now.
Yeah, it's really hard for me to articulate the objective because it's so clever. But it's my opinion that that's the intention. They want your mind. The mind is a shit. The Hermetica says all is mind. Says God is mind. Your soul is attached to your mind, and that's what the enemy wants. He wants your mind. And what better way to get your mind than to give you a crutch called AI where you don't know how to formulate a thought. I mean, they're teaching my students now to use Grammarly. I can't stand it. To help them write a paper, I won't tolerate it. You write your own damn paper.
Man, when I was in elementary school, man, when I was in third or fourth grade, they had us doing prepositions. We had to sit and learn how to do grammar on our own. We had to sit and learn how to write a story, how to write professionally. What I think AI is trying to get us to let our guards down. so that they could feed us with something else. Yes,
Exactly.
they probably want our brain, our minds, but I feel like they just want us to think how they want us to think.
Right.
And what better way to do that is for us to let our guards down.
Exactly.
But yeah, I
Wait,
really don't use it that much.
Yo,
I don't use it that much.
can I ask y'all a question real quick? And salute to our sister Nikki too. Please don't ever stop putting these spaces on YouTube because when I'm working and when I'm in class and stuff like that, 100, these are the spaces that I'm listening to. I might not be able to catch every space, but I can catch them on YouTube. So please don't ever stop doing that. And thank you for that. But
Oh, I apologize for not putting anything up. I picked up a contract and it's kicking my ass. So if y'all see me in a space and I'm not saying nothing, if y'all don't see me posting on Twitter or something, it's because I'm working in a contract. But after I'm done, I'll be back posting a lot. But if you don't see me posting something, just send me a message or send Professor one of them a message and tell me and I'll post it right away.
oh, don't worry.
I'm sorry about that.
You literally take all the time you need. Like I said, I just wanted you to know how much I enjoy these spaces, and I'm glad when I can catch them. But because of the time frames of how I live and where I live, I'm not able to always catch them. So the YouTube is it's a great help, and I love it. But I want to ask y'all this, especially speaking about AI. Do you think people in our community is too trusting of AI, especially after already seeing things like because we're very suspicious people. Let's keep it 100.
Right.
You know, so when we saw, many of us saw the I Robot movie, right? My grandmother, my mom, they will not mess around with certain parts of technology because of it. So, do you think that AI is actually kind of softening people's perception on what artificial intelligence actually is?
Hey, you know what? Hey, Professor, you said you're a millennial. I think you're a Gen Xer just like me. We're just a late, young Gen Xer. And to answer your question,
I'm
hey,
close to being a
brother,
Gen Xer.
yeah, I think we're Gen Xer. If you're born, like it used to be, if you were born before 86, you were a Gen Xer, and they changed it. If I ask you what's the first AI you remember, what are you going to say? Are you going to say Knight Rider with Kid? You're a Gen Xer. If I ask you what's the favorite big robot warrior, if you say Voltron, you're a Gen Xer. Millennials say the Megazord. So what I'm saying is that, brother, when you talk about the AI, that's bullshit because everybody remember Kid. If you're using your GPS system, it's telling you where to go, where not to go. You're using ASCII from back in the day. You're already using AI. Everybody's comfortable with it. They're not. They see what you're saying. It's like, I guess, fear mongering.
Let me rephrase that then, because I'm not just speaking about all of AI. I'm speaking about programs such as ChatGPT, programs like the ones that the Chinese just came up with or whatnot. These are totally different from like Ask Jeeves or the GPS system or the navigation systems that we've been working with. Yes, we've always worked with technology. My point is when technology start learning from itself,
Well,
that's
They
well,
have hold on. They have one. It's a it's a documentary on 60 Minutes about that same thing you're talking about. Me personally, I'm fascinated with AI. A lot of people I know don't even use AI. A lot of black people is not using AI. They just not. They're afraid of it or they don't know what it really is.
well,
People
what?
who have knowledge of a lot of stuff embraces AI. AI is
Professor,
good.
can I get in real quick?
It's good. I mean, let me correct. It has its pros and cons.
Well, the thing is, right now, AI is just like I was trained to create. I can create it from the ground, and all it is algebra 2. It's conditional statements. If this, then A. It mimics. If A, then B, then C. It's just mimics intelligence. It's not intelligent. It just mimics it. Well, I said right now we have quantum computing coming out. Basically, the computer we're talking on right now, cell phones, is binary code, open, close. looks like ones and zeros, but it's actually open and closed. Um, in a sequence to create different possibilities. But quantum computing is a whole different. It's so different. It's hard to even comprehend where it's going to go. Well, there's a guy back from my childhood. Y'all remember the Unabomber? His name's Ted Kaczynski.
Yes.
Ted was so brilliant. He wasn't a bad guy. He just was autistic. No, wasn't autistic. He was very brilliant and had a traumatic event when he was a child. I think somebody threw like scalding water. He got third-degree burns or something, and it just after that he started acting weird and wouldn't talk. But long story short, Ted went to after he finished Harvard, he went to get his PhD at Berkeley, UC Berkeley, in computer science. Real deep dude. And Ted was working on computers early on at Berkeley, a really powerful program. California kind of leads the way with technology and the like. I also would add that Ted was part of that. Was it MK Ultra, Wani, with Timothy Leary at Harvard? I forget whatever that program was called,
Yeah,
but
MK
it,
Ultra.
yep, using drugs and stuff. The law students really treated him awfully.
Oh,
Well,
oh my God, this is
oh no, what?
good. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Professor. This is
No,
getting good.
no, hell no. This was good, y'all. Check this out. So the Unabomber, he ended up. Ted went to Berkeley, became a professor at Berkeley, professor of computer science. And all of out the blue, one day, Ted started acting weird and warning the other professors. Berkeley is a dream school, by the way, for professors, just a dream town and a dream academic school. But Ted started going around the professors telling them, don't use computers anymore, leave computers alone. And everybody's like, you're crazy. And Ted started not cleaning up, not washing up, and showing signs of mental illness. Well, he got fired from Berkeley and still went around almost homeless, asking people, "Please leave computers alone. Stop. We need to stop working on computers." Well, Ted, nobody listened to him, and he got ostracized and laughed at again. And Ted moved to the woods and started assembling bombs and blowing people up. Hence the Unabomber. We all know that, right? But what the news didn't really like to say is the people. Well, I don't condone violence in any way, but the news didn't say that he was mailing bombs to people who were affiliated with promoting computer science in America on a large scale. Judges who passed laws for computers, or attorneys and business people who were trying to get computers implemented into everyday society. He was blowing them up, and some innocent bystanders would get blown up in the process sometimes. But long story short, only way he got caught is his brother recognized one of his letters. Like his brother was like, "That sounds like my brother." But anyway, this is the point of me bringing this up. Ted wrote a manifesto that I'm probably going to put on tomorrow's space, and in his manifesto, which is very like it's eerily written because it sounds just like just as polite and nice. Well, I think the last or second to the last chapter of his manifesto, he talks about the danger of computers. And Ted basically says that algorithms, now this shit was written in the early 90s or late 80s or some shit. He said algorithms are going to exponentially start learning, um, like compounding and learning upon themselves until computers are going to achieve a state of awareness. I forgot what they call that. They call that moment zero or a singularity. So he says basically computers are going to reach a singularity and become aware like a person, like some Skynet shit off of the Terminator. That's what Ted said. He knows a lot about computers. Well, anyway, keep that in mind. Years ago, I was teaching computer science in Memphis to a group of very brilliant black children, foundational black American children from Fraser. They call it the Bay. Just the neighborhood that really inspired hustle and flow. Real poor neighborhood, but our children are so fucking brilliant. And the Total Force community gave me resources, and I was teaching them Python and Shell. And one of my little girls, she's at NYU now on full scholarship. She said, "Dr. A," she said, "this reminds me of a Ouija board." And I was like, I didn't know what a Ouija board was. And I looked up Ouija board. Now she was talking about the programming shell, like the basics where you put code in. And I looked up a Ouija board and I was like, oh shit, that's a demon thing, right? And then it hit me that the Tower of Babel, the story of Babylon, the God that they were worshiping, that in the story of the Bible, and I'm not a biblical scholar, but I'm just using it. The the God that they were worshiping that offended God, and where God had to destroy the Tower of Babel. That guy's name was Sin AI. No shit.
Yes,
No shit.
yes.
Say that again. I caught the.
That
I
if
didn't
you
catch
were
the
the
last one,
Matrix.
Professor.
The God's name was Sin AI.
Wow.
Look it up.
That's real stuff.
Everything you're saying is real. Everything you're saying is real, but it's like, I hate to say it. It sounds so cliche, but if you really watch the Matrix series, even the third one, I go up to the third one. That's what's happening. But to make it plain and clear and succinct, they're trying to get into heaven. And what is heaven? It's the unity of the black, male, and female body.
They're
That is
they're
heaven.
using us as a portal. Interesting.
Professor,
Go ahead.
can I get in real quick?
Oh, go ahead.
Shout out to the professor. Shout out to one in here. Shout out to Nikki, that God in here. Who else in here? Brother McCall in here. So anytime I see him in here, I always have to make sure I have my literature correct. When I see brother McCall in here, shout out brother McCall. Man, I ain't gonna take too much long of the space up right now, but I do want to say this much. Watch out for Jasmine Crockett. And I want to take the time to say that because
Why you keep talking
even
about her hair like that? Why you keep talking about her wig like that?
who me,
Yeah, why you keep talking about her hair?
I ain't saying nothing about Jasmine. Well,
That
if you
wig
see
is
me on
dangerous.
Instagram,
I don't know what y'all.
I haven't. If you see me on Instagram, I haven't, Nikki. I haven't said nothing about Jasmine Crockett wig on Instagram. You know, that's the where the majority of my
I'm
platform
joking.
is.
I'm joking with you.
I know, I know you're not like that. But what I'm saying is I really want, because I'm looking at the title of the headline, and there's so many things everybody been talking about and speaking on that I wanted to touch on, but we all know the space moves so fast I don't even know what to respond to at each time. But I'm just looking at the primary headline. I'm looking at, you know, who should say the N word, and I think that's even funny. I think as a family, and I don't know if people know who these artists are, but it's an artist uh named Georgiana, and it's an artist named 1900 Rugrat. And two of these artists are white Americans from Florida. Well, Rugrat's from Florida and Georgiana's from, I want to say, Indiana, if I'm not mistaken. And they've been propping both of these artists up. And I haven't seen either one of these artists use the N word, but I have seen an interview with Rugrat. And this is a white boy, straight up out the middle of the trailer park, white boy. And they doing interviews with him, and he literally is up here saying, "Yeah, I came from the struggle, and it was so hard growing up, and I don't know what I would have did if." And I'm looking like, y'all are white. Why are y'all trying to sit up here and promote this imaginary struggle that y'all trying to relate to us? And and what's so insane about it is it's not that they're just saying this for clicks. It's people that's buying into it. Like in the comments, like, yeah, I came from the same thing too. I understand. And the rhetoric is being pushed further and further out into our community. Even I don't know if y'all seen this, and I don't know if Tariq might speak about it, but if he tap me in, I'm gonna talk to him about this shit. The little Tamaya dance, the I can get another you, the little dance that they did today. I seen it's a clip of a whole group of white people doing the fucking Tamia dance to the song. And I'm like, when are we gonna start gatekeeping? We can't keep posting everything on Instagram. We can't keep posting everything on YouTube. It's whole groups of white people doing our dances. I know FBA people that don't even know them dances. They still ain't learned that shit yet. But it's a whole group of white people that is not only learn to dance, but they putting this shit on social media. That shit's worrisome to me. We be giving these people the game. So what I'm saying is
Yeah.
not only go ahead, Nikki, go ahead.
No, you're right. I just don't have much. I
Oh,
I
okay.
believe I
Now
believe that people they get too close to. Go ahead.
exact. All I'm saying is these people sit back and they watch us day by day, post by post, platform by platform, and they watch us show them the lingo, the game, the sauce, the energy, the vibes. They watch us all the fucking time, and then they turn around and they recreate everything they see us do on social media. They ain't gotta beat us, they ain't gotta whip us, they ain't gotta rape us, they ain't gotta rape our children, they ain't gotta traffic us, they ain't gotta do none of that. All they do is sit back and they look at social media and they soak all the game up, they take notes, and then they turn around and they recreate it to their best knowledge. So all I'm saying is when we talk about who should use the N word, I just want to tell the family, y'all, I appreciate everybody who tapped me in. I don't know who always let my mic on, whether it's Professor or it's Wani or it's Nikki, but I love all y'all. Thank y'all for giving me an opportunity to pop my shit. But y'all know I don't be on here every single day. It's not about me talking every day. I don't give a fuck about talking every day. But when I do come in here, I want to bring y'all game, just like the Honorable Tariq Nasheed, just like the Honorable Professor Alon, just like the Honorable Wani, Nikki the God, just like all of our leaders and speakers. I want to come in here and I want to tell y'all watch the Jasmine Crockett's. I didn't get to speak on her the way I wanted to, but the final thing I want to say in my closing, y'all watch Jasmine Crockett. They trying to prop Jasmine Crockett up to keep it a buck. I ain't gonna lie. I wouldn't be surprised if they low key try to make Jasmine Crockett a presidential candidate
Yep.
or vice president candidate.
Yep.
And I said that before I even heard Tariq say that. I've
You think
already
they're gonna pull a Kamala on us
Mm-hmm.
with Jasmine
Exactly.
Crockett? Okay.
Exactly. They're because like we all know, Kamala didn't have that foundational Black American grassroots energy behind her. She didn't have that. She didn't have that feel, that vibe to her. Jasmine Crockett, they're steady propping her up to kind of be like that bridge between the youth, who they think the youth is, who they think the future is, who someone who they direct to speak to our lineage. So they think, I'm trying to tell you, they're propping her up, and we see what the plot is. But I just want to reinforce to the family: watch Jasmine Crockett. They're gonna try to just throw her on us like, here's your
Like
leader.
Cynthia
Here's
Erivo.
it.
Right.
Now,
But see what
she's
Cynthia.
not, she's doing a step and fetch it act. I just want you to know that she doesn't talk like that. She's from a fancy girls' school
Oh yeah.
and she's full of it. So she's just doing that. They think that we're ratchet and they're pretending to be ratchet in order to connect with us.
Yeah. Well,
It
what Wani said is so true. Y'all been bringing Jasmine Crockett up a lot, and the newsman bringing her up, and I looked at her bio, and I saw that it said Rhodes College. Long story short, I worked when I the best job I ever had in my life. I so far was I was under the leadership of a professor at Rhodes College. So I spent most of my time when I was working on the COVID-19 grant under Congressman Steve Cohen at Rhodes College. And I'm just the reason why I brought that up is when I watch Jasmine Crockett, I see all this sister girl like all that like attitude. And Rhodes College is the most lily white conservative school I've ever been set
There
foot
you
on.
go.
So
There you go.
whoever that is she's acting like is not her.
That's all I'm trying to tell y'all. And thank you for that insight. I'm just glad we're all on the same page because believe it or not, I literally have in my notes already written down when our brother Tariq did the space the other day. I could show proof. I had in my notes. I could even on videos that I did, and when I spoke to him in these same spaces about Jasmine Crockett. We spoke about this months ago because I just kind of saw the coddling. They think Jasmine Crockett is the new sister girl. She's not a unattractive woman. She's all right looking. She's the average man that seen her would try to try something. You know what I'm saying? So she's
Try
not
something.
Not really. Why can't she dance on beat? That would turn a lot of
I'm gonna be
FBA men
honest
off.
with
see. Look, this
I'm
She
why
gonna be
what
can't
that
even dance on beat.
look. That's why
look,
one he laughing though. That's why one
look.
he laughing because she know we.
I'm gonna be 100% no. If I saw Jasmine Crockett out there dancing on the dance floor like how she was trying to do that little step to Kendrick, I'd walk right around her. All
But
three of those
I
women were incredibly off code. Like
I
neither
hear
of them
I
had
but
any rhythm. None of them had any swag. One of the girls in the back, she wasn't even doing the walk. She was doing the throw them bows. You remember when Ludacris did them throw them bows?
okay,
That's
okay,
what she
okay,
was
okay,
doing.
okay, but what I'm saying is that's why Wani was laughing and Nikki laughing because what I mean is I'm not saying the average brother wouldn't holler at Jasmine Crockett because of the way she was portraying herself in the videos. I'm saying outside of the video, if you didn't see the videos and you were just to see her just on some random in the streets type shit and you saw her and you had the nuts to walk up and talk to a woman and you saw Jasmine Crockett, you would
If
be
I
like,
saw
okay.
that wig, I would
You'd be
walk
you'd
right
be like, hey,
past her.
you'd be like,
Look,
hey, how you doing?
I need
She
to
would
say
she
something.
would have to pull a whole different wig out of her
But
person in order for me to
no,
want to
no,
talk to
Okay,
no.
her.
let me
Like
get
I
she
you
hear,
got
more information.
I hear,
she got 7 styles of wigs and they're all crooked. I
Let
don't
me.
yeah,
get it.
How does she do that? I don't understand it. Is
I,
her
Fam,
head
you got
I
to fix
hear
And
that
she
that, but
phone.
got
I
money.
think their heads are crooked and the wigs are
And she
fine.
got money.
Now,
No,
let
no, no.
me.
How do you got money and you walk around with 7 crooked
I don't
wigs? I'm not
understand
dealing
that.
with
That
you.
is a mystery. That yeah, I have
it
to.
it it is. But
It's pretty bizarre.
all I was trying to say was that the average, I would just say we'll just go by average. We'll just go 10 out of 10 FBA
She
men
could get it, in other words.
Let
I
me
is
think
let me
is
let
I,
me
a
I
show
think
you
they
why
how
he's.
have to give
Let me
her
show
brother
you
a
what.
little bit
housing
more
know what I'm
credit.
Let
trying
me
to
tell
say.
you
She
why
could get
he's
it.
Housing,
She could get it.
telling the truth.
Is
Let me
that the housing
I think
housing
you got
know
to give our brothers a little bit more credit because
let
I'm
nah
me
nah
looking
nah nah
let
nah
me
nah
tell you
housing
why he's.
housing 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 just
Wait.
reaffirm what
I
I
know
said.
what you're saying.
Let
My
me
brothers,
tell
my
you.
brothers, we must stay focused.
Stay stand.
Let me
I'm
tell
not
you
we
why
must stay
he's
focused.
telling the
She
truth.
could get it, in
Because
other words. She could get
Exactly.
the
I'm
lady.
let's just keep it real. If it was a hundred niggas or 100 I won't say niggas, if it was 100 brothers that just walk up and they saw Jasmine Crockett out of 100 times just on the street,
Hey,
didn't know
so
nothing
so
about
so
her.
he so he
Wait,
hold on 1 second. Wani, what were you saying?
I was trying to say, I know that that's true because that lady Latifah, Lateefah Simon, she's blind and one of her eyes is lower than the other eye, which is pretty. rare and remarkable. This woman is blind and yet she's got children.
Maybe she got
So
a good personality,
Well, Wanda, you are hilarious. Go ahead.
I already know. I already know. I've
Jasmine
seen
Crockett.
a whole lot of developmentally disabled, knocked up women on New
Yeah,
York subways.
they have good brains. They have good head on their
Uh-huh.
shoulders.
Who
You know what I'm
did
Wanda,
that?
saying?
Wanda, you got me crying over here. Go
Who
ahead and
did
cook. Go
who
ahead.
Man,
did
I
that?
I rather get Marjorie Taylor Greene than Jasmine Crockett. You know what I'm saying? I
Damn.
don't. If I'm
What?
gonna take a risk,
What?
if I'm gonna take a risk for the politician, I'm going with the money in. I'm not going with shit. I'm not. I would never take
Well,
Jasmine Crockett.
Snow Bunny
Jasmine.
crisis.
you gotta date Nancy Pelosi
Man,
then.
She's worth
you,
6 million, Jasmine Crockett.
9 million.
is it,
9 million.
To what?
hold
And
on,
what?
Oh
pause.
no,
Gotta
crack
get
And
is
some
what?
whack.
help from
Crack
Nancy
Hold
is
on.
Oh,
whack.
Pelosi.
listen. Excuse me for
Let
one
me
minute.
ask y'all this
Excuse me
though.
for one
Let me
minute.
ask you
No.
this
Crack
question.
is where it's at.
Excuse
I
me
just
for
have
one
one
minute.
Hold on. I never seen Gia in here, but she came in here with the numbers. I didn't even know. She said she worth 6 million,
It's 9 million.
9 million. Okay,
I
so
still
I just
think
want to
Nancy
say real
Pelosi is
quick.
the one.
But
I
here's the
didn't
thing
even
though.
I didn't incorporate the financial side of it. So if you see a young black woman that looks like she's for the
Man,
grassroots,
she could get it.
that that
Look,
ha-
Nancy Pelosi better get it.
Nah,
that
not
has
Nancy, Wani.
Yep, y'all are running up on some
No.
Nancy. She got enough money to pay the whole damn
Yeah, you
reparations.
is right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where y'all going.
oh
I'm gonna be honest
deep
with you.
voice warning.
If
That's
I gotta
right.
take one for the
Y'all have
team
to
so we can get reparations
y'all
out of
need to
this
get
piece,
over there.
Hey,
then
Wani,
Nancy
I
Pelosi
sent you
should
That's
get
my
it.
something.
pimp
Hello?
voice. That's my
Like
pimp
Hold on for
voice.
1 minute.
I'm just gonna be 100 real with you. Since you put it like that, Wani, if I gotta take one for the team so that we can be out here getting what we need to get, then damn it, I'll be out there like, hey, Miss Pelosi, I saw you drooling on your stick.
Yeah.
I got another stick you can drool
Yeah.
on if you want.
Yeah.
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 Oh,
Uh,
that's just going too far.
Fry some of them millions off of that little stick.
I've been ahead over real quick, Wani. Ain't no problem.
Oh Lord.
Hey, Wani, listen, I sent you something. Hold on
I
for one
told.
minute. Wani, I sent you something about Jasmine Crockett. This brother
Okay.
posted. I inboxed you it. I don't know how to send it on here. He's got he's explaining all her wheelings and dealings. I don't know how strong it is, but take a look at it and read it. It's fascinating.
I just want to say real quick that, but the bottom line, first of all, deep voice Wani is goaded. Deep voice. I don't even want to talk to deep voice Wani,
Why not?
but chill.
Why not?
I sent it to you
I
too,
can't do
Nikki the
it
God.
now.
I read Martin Taylor Greene.
Nikki the God.
deep
I
It's
deep
sent
not
voice
it to you
deep
working.
voice
too about
deep.
Jasmine Crockett.
But no, seriously, on a whole note, because this is not about Jasmine Crockett and trying to lift her up or whatever the case may be. Jasmine Crockett is detrimental to the FBA family. Bottom line, housing. We've had disagreements before in the past, but he hear what I'm trying to say. At the end of the day, as that brother broke it down, she
Get it.
can get it. And that's all I was trying to say. Like the average man, FBA, non-FBA,
Yeah, cut right
they
to
see
the chase, man. Get
they see Jasmine Crockett, they gonna try to get it popping. And what I'm saying is that is a that is a problem because
No,
she's not for that
dude,
is a
dude.
problem because she's
The only nigga. Wait, hold
I'm
up.
not gonna lie
No,
to
no,
you,
no,
brother.
no,
I'm
no.
not gonna
The
lie.
only
I
nigga
will
that's
have
gonna
to agree
wait,
with
no,
you.
no, y'all like the
I
only
will
nigga,
have to
dude.
agree.
The only
Some
nigga.
people may look at her as
No,
attractive.
no. The only nigga that's gonna fuck with her is someone that needs a place to stay. They come out of prison. That's the only nigga that's gonna fuck with Jasmine
Hey
Crockett.
man, hey,
What are you talking
Yep.
about?
I disagree. I
because they
disagree with
brought
that
up
because
another great point.
I disagree with that because the
She's
sister.
worth 9
Yo, what's
million.
wrong with that phone?
She's worth 9 million,
Man,
family.
this
So
nigga in a submarine or something, man. No,
I disagree. I disagree because the sister Gia popped into space and gave us her net worth.
dude, that's not. We
Y'all
can't
did
confirm that. We can't confirm that. We don't
so
know.
that we can't confirm that, but I'm gonna take that sister at face value. So let's just say
You can on she has to file and she has to do reporting in terms of her finances. So that's where you can find it. All congressmen and senators have to do that.
That's what I was about to say. I don't think she'll just I don't even know who she is, but she doesn't seem like the kind of person to just come in here and just display some information like that that's not confirmed. That's why I say I take her at face value. I
Yeah.
don't do that with anybody, but
Yeah.
I take that sister at face
I
value.
I rather
Oh,
So
take
what?
Margie
I'll
Taylor
give you
Greene at
some
face
insider.
value.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay. I hear that, but all
I'd
I'm
stay
saying
next to the
is,
bigger bucks. You can get about 4 reparations servings off of Jasmine.
Yeah.
so the
I've
bottom
added
line
it
of
all
all
up.
I'm saying is, regardless of what she look like, what she don't look like, as we confirm from a heterosexual man standpoint, if you were just to see Jasmine Crockett and she got to talking that Democratic shield babble,
She'll flip a lot of
we'll
brothers.
we'll 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 buy in if we didn't know what it
I know
was.
what you mean.
That's all.
I would think she was with a white dude because of that wig, to be honest. And then
She would have to take off the
that wig always kept
eyelashes.
bothering me the whole
She
time.
was standing next to that Soros son or whatever he
Yes,
is,
Yeah.
was.
nephew.
And
George
has
Soros
anyone
Jr.
seen her man? Has anyone seen her man?
Her husband took her last name.
Oh
That's
boy.
very strange for
Really?
me.
She's a
Is her
plant.
husband black?
Yes,
At the end of the
her
day,
husband
at the end of the day, she's a
took
plant.
her
I
family
tried to
name.
do genealogy on her and ran into a brick wall.
I
Yeah,
think
it's
And,
that
nothing
man
out there on
really
her,
enjoyed
Wani.
the
Yeah,
and she
we
went to the
haven't. That's
Rose.
that, that's the point
And
that
I
I'm
used
making.
2 different
They
sites.
hide it,
That's the
Wani.
point.
They hide.
That's the point. None of us. There's not been anybody in any of our spaces yet that has verified Jasmine Crockett. So until then,
our Brandon Johnson.
Well, well, the white
Brandon
supremacists
Oh,
have
Johnson.
been on the
hold on, but
focus.
eventually it will come out. It's just a
The
matter
the
of
white
time.
the white supremacists. I don't know if you guys are following. They found an old video where she normally talks like. Have y'all seen that?
Yes, we see.
Yes, I have.
Oh, okay. And they talk about how she a Rhodes scholar, like Tariq be say. They be finding them in school, just like he
Yep.
said.
Hey, Wani, did you look at the thing I sent you about her in your inbox?
No, I don't see it. Hold on, let me refresh.
And if you could find it, can you post it up here? Because I don't know how to do that. I sent it to
the bottom.
Nikki the
I
God.
don't I don't have anything.
Nikki the God, I sent it to you too this afternoon.
I have
The
something from you 6 hours
That's
ago.
that's that's it right there.
Oh, okay. Let me look at it.
Can you post it up here?
Yes.
Show everybody.
the the problem is the problem is with her, the grassroots, the real grassroots, not fucking with her. That's the issue.
But you also have a lot
She
of
keeps talking about immigration every time she opens her mouth. The
immigration,
immigrant falls out
immigration.
and nobody wants to hear about it.
Yeah, that's why I say the real grassroots not verify her. We the real grassroots. She got to come through us to get verified.
But check it out. The way she's cussing and stuff, she figured that, they told her, listen, we need you to go out there, cuss like them hood rats that be cussing in the street and all that. So we could figure out we could attract them when we set you up for the big move we're gonna put you in.
Yeah, you want to know who they gave that same script to?
No,
Her name was Kamala Harris,
she didn't
And look what happened.
she didn't have no swag.
and we seen how that shit worked.
So they got somebody that does have more African ancestry, but she's still
Yes.
willing
Exactly.
to
She got that
step
she
and
got
fetch
that.
it.
Listen, she looked like
So they
Yeah.
so they so they're redirecting the script to
Mm-hmm.
Jasmine Crockett now.
listen,
Yeah, she's doing a step and fetch it, misrepresenting
she
us.
could be from Brooklyn, she could be from Cali, Florida, she could be from any part of the state. How she's moving right now. Switching.
We don't even know that she's from the states just because her background has been wiped so clean. The same thing with Brandon Johnson. His background has been wiped so clean. When you look into their background, all you're going to find is African American this, African American that, African American. But when you're asking about ethnicity, it all just goes back to, well, Jasmine Crockett. At least we know her father is a reverend and a
They
doctor
said the
from
mother and
St.
father is a reverend and a doctor, something like
Louis. No, the mother, she used to work for the UPS post office or whatnot, and she retired from there. So they both at one point in time actually worked for the federal government at
All right,
one
so
point.
where are they from?
They're supposed to be from St.
I
Louis, apparently.
yeah.
That's what the background says, but it gets real murky because you can't really research their background like that. Nothing comes up.
I mean,
That's
I
by
just want to say
design.
real quick. I just want to say real quick because I was thinking about it. I don't believe it'll happen, but the $1 billion question would it be is will the Democrats put enough power and energy behind not only propping Jasmine Crockett up as a just a general political figure, but does she potentially have like the backing to be potentially a Democratic presidential candidate?
It's been mentioned a few
I,
times already.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm kind of feeling like
They're
that might be
making
that.
so many
You
bad
guys
moves is incredible. So yeah, she's the next president because they are. I don't know who's advising them. Must be people that want the Republicans to win.
no, that's a fact. If you guys go
It kind of
look at
just
the
looks like
responses,
they're propping her. They're kind of slowly like so. When I say slowly, I mean slowly. But I kind of peep this. It kind of feels like they're kind of day by day,
Grooming her.
week. Yeah, they're grooming her to kind of be like that. I don't want to say Kamala 2.0 because she has a completely different background as Kamala Kondo, but it still kind of feels like they're kind of slowly, like as he said, grooming her and propping her up. Because at first I thought it was like AOC. I said AOC a long time ago, but AOC is not. AOC is not grassroots enough, but it's kind of like they're trying to kind of sell.
Black people don't
Uh,
like her.
yeah,
well,
yeah. That
neither is Jasmine Crockett. She's not black roots enough at all. She's not black grassroots. Every position that she
what
has, she's been put
what
in.
I'm saying is that's my point. They're slowly kind of as our brother Tariq Nasheed said, they're kind of slowly building her credentials
They're trying to give her black
to
credentials.
In
That's why they're
other
trying to
words,
make her
yeah,
do
listen.
extra hood.
In other words, they testing the waters.
I would say
yeah.
that that's partially correct, but I would only hit it with a caveat that she's getting given that opportunity to show that she can get pushed to the forefront, and that's why she's trying so damn hard. Because if you really go and look at some of the response videos to her little Kendrick Lamar dance and stuff, that's actually had a negative effect amongst the youth.
Oh, thank God.
But my brother, what I'm saying is there is no try hard. I don't. There's a try hard as far as the way the media is pushing her, but it's not a try hard for her as an individual because the 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 propping up looks very natural. Like they're naturally propping her up. I used to feel like Jasmine Crockett was trying hard. I don't even feel that anymore. There's some sort of support and backing that is behind her.
She's gonna get some.
That
And another thing,
Honestly, family, I
not
would
to
have to
interrupt you,
honestly
another thing
just
that's working
genuinely
in her
disagree
favor,
with you.
right, is that she speaks very well and she can hold a conversation. Something that Kamala didn't have, couldn't do at all.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I would have to disagree. And the reason why I say that is because that even with them propping her up, it looks totally disingenuous. And a lot of us can see the disingenuousness, especially the youth. That's why I said go on TikTok and actually look at some of the responses from people who's like 18 to 25 responded to Jasmine Crockett doing
but
that
I,
stuff.
but I,
And
but I,
they're all
but this is the
speaking the
point.
same thing.
But this is the point that I'm making. I'm not talking about what we can or can't see. I'm talking about who the Democrats, who the radical left feels can best represent their agenda for the presentable future right now.
Right, I get that.
Hold on, wait real quick. As
Go
we've broken down, as we've listened several times in these spaces, who what who name a name that they will turn to right now. She's the only and I didn't even throw her name in there until over the past few weeks. I just started feeling like this. They're steadily giving her interviews, giving her press.
Hmm.
She's in social media. She's steady making uh, clip forming, as I call it, meaning she's going out of her way to try to make these viral moments. She's at the Congress speech when Trump is talking, saying we're going to boycott, we're going to leave the speech, we're not going to listen to this. I'm just saying, there's more and more evidence as the days pass that shows there's name. I'll ask you, name me a name that the Democratic Party has propped up more over just the past, we'll just say 2 weeks.
I'll say
Name me a name that's been propped up more than hers.
Well,
From a Democratic standpoint.
my thing is this: I get what you're saying, and I'm not
No,
dis.
I'm just saying,
I'm
name
not
me a
discounting.
name. Name me a name.
Hold on, real quick. I'm not discounting what you're saying. All I'm saying is this: I believe it's just an opportunity. I believe it's an opportunity for the Democratic Party to push her forward if she can prove that she can get garner engagement, and that's why you're seeing all of this, her being this way, that way. Like, you have to understand that the Democratic Party has done this several times over with other people. They try to do the thing. Cory Booker tried to do the thing like with AOC. They gave them all opportunities, and when they see that the grassroots really ain't rocking with them, those people tend to go by the wayside.
But I asked you a question. All I said was, name me a name that they would do that more with. Just give me a name. If you can't do it, just say you can't do it.
You're talking about the Jasmine Crockett being promoted situation.
Yes, give me a name that's being promoted more than her from the
None.
left right now.
none
As
at
of
the
right
moment.
now, none.
But they have all these people that come out of nowhere. Even she came out of nowhere at one point in time.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
all the point that I'm trying to make to the other listeners is right now you can't name a name that's being promoted more than hers.
Right.
Correct?
She falls off, like
Okay.
brother said.
That's my point. That's the point I'm making.
That's
I,
true.
I hear what you're saying, but I think they're promoting her just like Tariq be saying. She represents that sapphire black woman. You know what
No, it's not. But that's the point that I'm making. It's not just about what Tariq is saying because even before he said that,
I mean?
if he's already given us the game, if you listen to what he's done, the work he's put in, the amount of scholarships
Yeah,
that he's contributed, the Professor Alon, the Warnies, the Nickies, we already have the game. If Tariq never made another video,
right,
we can sit here and look at what is gonna be in the future, and
right.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
I already
They only have the
I
playbooks.
already seen. I said AOC. Okay, AOC's not. She can't connect with us.
Nope.
They took AOC out the paint quickly. Okay, so now we can't use AOC. Now who do we use? Jasmine Crockett. She's FBA, quote unquote. She has the mannerisms, quote unquote. She has the attitude, quote unquote. She knows the struggle, quote unquote. She for the Democrats, she checks all the boxes. That's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say.
No, no.
She
I
checks.
I
No,
agree with you.
I
I agree with you. I mean, personally, I feel like she's kind of overdoing it, but I agree with you. But what I'm saying is the quick test is if anyone goes up to her, if anyone's in DC area, ask her about reparations, and that'll shut all that down because they're not for it.
It,
Whoever
we-
promotes, they're not for it.
you can ask her about reparations, but she's already been prepped and programmed with all the white feminist democratic talking points.
And if
So
You
my
think she's more than Michaela Montgomery or who's the other person than Danielle Carter? I think they're more relatable in many aspects than Jasmine Crockett is. Even
I
Sharice Lane, they're those are black women. Even though they're conservatives, they are
mhm.
more. They're more at least believable.
but Gia, I'll just respond to what to your point. I don't know those women, and that's kind of goes exactly to the point that I'm about to make. I'm a media guy. I'm a social media guy. I look up who the media tells us about. It's not about who we don't know about. It's who we do know about.
right,
When the media makes it a point to repeatedly post about a specific individual, or post about something they said or went against, that's something that sticks out to me.
I back you up.
Because but because at that point,
All
it's
right.
about who the media tells us we should be concerned about. It's who the media tells us we should put our energy into listening to. You
I
see
back.
what I'm saying?
I
I
back
agree
you up.
and
with you
and
partially.
and and, and as I and I
All I'm
and as I
saying is this:
and as I asked the
everybody.
brother, name me a name that right now you could point to that would be that's more propped up than Jasmine Crockett. And he said, I can't give you a name. And that's the only point I was trying to make.
No,
No, and I
make a
agree
good
with you, brother. But the thing that I'm trying to say is this: I agree with you to an extent because you're correct. The thing is, every person that we shut down, they propped up. At that time, they were doing more numbers on the media. They were getting more FaceTime. They were telling us we should be voting for this person or we should be listening to this person. And each time we shut them down. Even Roland Martin got that place for a period of time until we showed that he was a joke. And then even the mainstream media start making fun of Roland Martin. So I agree with you. But the thing is, if you don't have the influence, then the Democratic Party will now have to reevaluate what they're doing with you. The same thing with Kamala Harris. They
Yeah, but you
pushed,
want to
they
know the
pushed,
difference.
they pushed,
But you
they
want to know
pushed.
the difference between
But
Roland Martin and now. And this is the last point I make, and I want to yield the mic to the host or the co-host. But I just want to say this real quick. Roland Martin is a man. Harris was a woman. Jasmine Crockett is a woman. If you do not see the Democratic Party's plan is to attack us through the voice of women, and to say, hey, if you really care about change, quote unquote, Barack Obama, change, quote unquote, if you really care about change, if you really care about, you know, future plans, then you'll vote for this woman, because women are change. And not only just women, but women of color. We don't need to explain to you what color they come from, but they're women and they're of color. That's all you need to fucking know. Vote for her.
Okay. All right.
So,
Ladies and gentlemen, I've enjoyed y'all. It's about that time. We're gonna pick this back up tomorrow around the same time, so look out for us.
yes, sir. Thank y'all. I
Oh,
love
no
y'all,
doubt,
man.
no doubt. Much
Much love
love,
to
much
all
love.
y'all.
Thank you.
Wanda, you have any last words?
Good night, everybody.
Nikki,
Good night, Warner. Good night,
Good night,
Nikki.
Wani. Good night, Professor.
good.
Yeah, y'all didn't even let me speak. You're just
Yeah,
talking.
yeah. Let Nikki look. Can Nikki spit real quick, real quick, real
No,
quick.
good night. Good night,
Okay,
everybody. I
guys,
All
love
right,
you
night,
all.
night, y'all,
in
night,
the
y'all.
jumbotron, you'll see Nikki the Gods Cash App, show her love. In addition, Wani Spots Cash App is in the jumbotron. Lastly, if you want a copy of my book, go to Our Story Publications. $, Our Story Publications. Put $25 on it and put your full address and zip code, and I'll send you a copy of my book. Have a nice day, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace out.